usual. Get ready for the midday show. Yeah, we can turn those both into bulls. Great idea.
It's bullish.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we should do it. All right. Thank you so much to everybody for watching. We've got these two positions on. We'll hold them. We'll talk about them in the chat as we go. Let's go over to Adair, then we'll go to the midday show. And good luck on everybody trading the IPO.
Yeah, I just want to let you guys know here, Donald Trump is set to take the podium. It said 11:15 in the schedule. The stream is already live, but he's going to be at the Kennedy Center announcing some honorees. Again, this is very likely not maybe going to be a market-moving event, but he can always be asked questions, and we never know what can or will be said. Just keep an eye here on the market as Donald Trump is set to begin speaking. I'll let you guys know once he officially takes the podium. He has not yet. Back to you.
Oh, we're here. We're live. And we're doing it right.
Boom! That was sick. Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the midday show. That right there, that guy right there in the black is your boy Joey Options, and I'm Sharif. Do we even have a video, Joey? Because I didn't have an opportunity to load up the chat.
Brother.
You know, I mean, because your friend Ram there taking liberties with some of these things. I'm not seeing the video, or here it is. Possibly this is it. Let's load this up over here since it's the only one available. All right, let's shout out everybody. Hey,
yo.
The bicep gang is back, says a hangry wife. Okay. Get some food, girl.
Ooh.
All right, we got Mike Milton. I don't text. 9783. We got JT Tiger and Little Raz. I like that. Tyler Verse. Shout out to Yannick. King Clutch. MF Dangerous. He is so dangerous. We got Unconquered. Mary Smith. Ichiro. We got Katamandu. All right. We got Lil Raz again. Shout out to Gary Worm. We got Drew Farrell in the house. Ebb Flow Portfolio. Bills Champs. Why not? Why not? All right. I see you. Mike Zemis. I'm trying to look for some new names here. All right, I'll skip that one. Right. Routine Controller, Switzerler Sniper, Mary Smith, and Nubian Rack. Get it, girl. Hope everybody's having a fantastic morning today. It's been a really interesting one in case you don't know. The big boys were talking about it all morning long. We have an IPO today, and yes, it is a crypto IPO. We've seen all the AI IPOs get hyped up. We've seen the crypto IPOs get hyped up. And the other non-crypto AI IPOs, well, a little you know what I mean? So I'm down for this one.
Timing is everything, brother, I think. And we're in a perfect time.
Yeah, you and I are taking this. Yeah. So Joey Options and myself, at least for the moment, you know, it depends on really what we see going forward. But him and I do plan on taking this live on the show. Hopefully it opens up during our show and we do it live again.
Do it again, man. That would be absolutely awesome, man. I'll be honest. I was like, I woke up. First thing I say to Sharif this morning, man, I got a good sleep. But for some reason I wasn't feeling 100%. I don't know what it is. But as soon as I hop on here with you guys, all of that goes out the window. I get to talk with you. We get to put on some trades. And yeah, that's what we're up to. So feeling live, the adrenaline starting to kick in. But the issue is your boy crashes pretty heavy. But that's all right. We'll worry about that later. That's a different instance. Let's talk a little bit about some trading. Let's go over our first one. All right, we'll go over some losses first. Small loss on QBTS. Small potatoes, as Dooley likes to say. All right, for those who know who Dooley is. Anyways, we try this one, Quantum Space, QBTS, D-Wave moving higher in the pre-market, looking for a continuation in strength. I did like the initial selling in just after the open, but then I'm like, all right, we have an indecision print. Let's see if we can get this continuation to the top side, and that necessarily wasn't the case. As soon as it broke my level, we got out of dodge, all right? So we're not too worried about that one. Now let's take a look at RGTI as well here, guys. This is going to be our second attempt on this one off of those lows. This is Devin Haney right here. Yeah, so we get in and then we hop out because I was focusing on something else. But then as I noticed, we continuously held this base around that 1580 level. The rest of the market was selling off. RGTI holding up relatively well. So I'm like, let's get involved into this one more time. And sure enough, we take about 20% off right there, guys. And then we're going to hold a little bit for the break of this pivot, or it's going to construct a lower high as the market is taking an additional leg lower. Now, is that all you've traded today, Joseph? Absolutely not, Sharif.
Okay.
We've been trading Bitcoin this morning. And Bitcoin, we get that break all the way up into about 122,000. 1,000, I believe, roughly. But anyways, on IBIT, we enter our position right here, and then I'm going for the break of that pre-market high. And one thing to note, you know exactly what I'm keeping my eye on. Sharif, what is it?
Sir.
The volume profile. Bang. And look at it start to accelerate, and you're going to see the genuity within those prints. That's going to give me the confirmation to add into it and double up the position. And sure enough, there we go. Bang. We take a little bit off, and then we just piece it out. And then sure enough, I'm going to be patient on this one. Last time I traded IBIT, I had my ad slightly prematurely. But now I'm market selling. Let me be more patient because these pullbacks are a little bit more deep. So now that we're south of the volume weighted average price, I'm looking for any forms of indecision to add into this position. And then sure enough, I get confirmation. Is it going to work? We don't know that just yet, but you have to go off of those signals and you have to take those shots because guess what, guys?
What?
You miss 100% of them that you don't take, all right? So that's exactly why now we've added into this position. I've already taken out 90% of this one, but we'll just add a little bit. I'm not going to be using my free roll method. I'm going to classify this as a whole secondary trade. But that's what we got going on. IBIT treating us half decently well this morning.
Nice, man.
Sharif, how about you? What do you got going on?
All right, man. We're just in one position at the moment. GBIO. Let's go through this one. We just took one print on it. Let's see what is going on. I've got a dip trade here at 6 to defend that $6 level as well as the 10 EMA on the 5. As you know, I've been keeping my eye on the 10 EMA mostly here for the pullbacks. We'll see if we can get filled at around there. That's my order right there. Did it fill? No, it didn't cross. Showing me 4s, but it's got to dip down a little bit deeper for us to get the fill. Showing me 4 here on the level 1, 5 on the level 2 for whatever reason. We'll keep an eye out on that, and we'll report back to you guys about the progress of that. But let's talk about what we've got on here. For the small cap gappers moving on the day, top of your screen, top left anyway, BLSK up 144%, really going. This one really started taking off in the aftermarket, 440. I'm not sure if this was an earnings play or a news headline or whatever it was. It continues on 4 a.m. and we continue on into the bell, 581 high. Looks like it does generally have support at the 10 EMA on the 5. I'll be putting a dip trade closer to that $5 area on BSLK. Let's load that up right now, BSLK, and then we'll go on with the others because I just want to put a dip trade on this one. So let's go ahead right there, and we're just going to sit at 511 for a dip trade in and around there, and we'll get stopped out through the break of 475. So we got to give this one a little bit of room into that level, and we'll give it just like that. All right, so let's bring back in the side chart and go on with what we got covered today. Another one, WBTN. This is number 2 on my scanner above there, up about 81%. This thing looks like a dang buy program. Very similar kind of price action. We start moving in the aftermarket yesterday, and we continue in the pre-market as well as at the bell today. Look at these volume bars here. Each one has about 250,000 shares per pop per 5-minute candle. We were a little bit higher than that earlier on during power or the beginning hour of trading. We had about 500,000 shares. So it's plenty of shares to go around there. Another one, LGVN. Is this Longeveron? LGVN, or is that a different one? It is Longeveron. This thing is back. Oh my goodness. It is south of $1 now, 94 penny high. It's trading very, very spready for a sub-dollar name. It's popping from 85 to 88 like that. It's crazy, Adair. I mean, you think this thing would be under $1, it'd be a tighter spread. Nuh-uh. Get it, spread, she says. So LGVN looking good over here, holding the 10 or VWAP. It's kind of one of those ones where VWAP's ahead of the 10 because of the aggressive move up. So let's keep an eye out on that. Certainly interested in that. We got more though. EDIT, EDIT. I remember trading this one, I think a few weeks ago, maybe late last or early last week, something like that. Anyway, pulls into that 286, finds VWAP, already making a first 5-minute candle, make a new high. Let's see if this one can test and stay above 3. It's got a 310 high. I'm talking about EDIT, as well as this one, PSKY, another former runner that I've been trading lately. This one is putting in lower highs, though. It does feel like it is destined to pull back into the volume weighted average price, which is give or take around that $13 area. Currently showing me 1305, 1303. 3. Let's see if it finds support there. I'm not interested in it below VWAP. I got one more here before we send it back to your Joey options. Fate. I wonder what kind of fate we'll have if we'll trade this one. Bad pun, but the price action is quite good. $1.21 high, putting in higher lows as well as higher highs. So if you're looking for the bull flag pattern like I am here, I see a bit of a bullish twist to this bull flag where you don't have a downward channel with lower highs and lower lows. In fact, it's quite the opposite. You have higher highs and higher lows above that volume weighted average price. So we'll see what fate has to offer us. I'm certainly interested in punching into one of these over here. So 7 good small cap gappers all above VWAP right now. But I'm going to say this again, and I don't care if I sound like a broken record. Trade them carefully. They are not good to you. They do not care about you, and they will not spend that much time in any one price area, Joey.
Yeah.
They're at 535. In a second, it can be at 490.
Absolutely. And I mean, to add to your point there, Sharif, there isn't a single stock out there that cares about you at the end of the day. So yeah, small cap, mega cap, it does not matter. It's irrelevant. They'll take your money, and you know what? The market will sleep just fine while you're out there losing hair, stressing out. It does not care how much money you lost, what you lost. As a matter of fact, it doesn't even know you exist. So at the end of the day, hold no extreme bias, as Adara likes to say. She does not like to hold one, which is smart, right? And that's what I tell a lot of my friends. At the end of the day, I don't even really care. And to be honest with you, throughout my adventure of trading and kind of just the journey that you've been going through, you come to the realization that it's like, if it's not working for you, then get out. And Sharif and we joke about, hey, Joe will flip the switch on you real quick.
Right away.
But I will, because at the end of the day, if you're not doing what I want, you don't care about me, so I'm not going to care unless you're working in my favor. I could care less on what you are doing. So it's either we're friends and we're working out, or we're not working out, and that's fair enough for me to say.
Joey changes, baby.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we switch up quick, and I think I think it's a pretty good trait to have. It's just like, you're not working, okay, see you later, AC Slater to that one, and then sure enough, you find something else that works. Adara,
get it, Adara.
Are you ready?
Okay, I know Sharif is a fan of this show. So, Sharif, I'm going to out Joe right here. On Monday, while you were, resting sick, totally unaware, Joe said, in all honesty, that he did not know where AC Slater was from. I think he thought it was an actor. And he said, in a questioning voice, The Breakfast Club? And I was quick to correct him because I know you are a fan of Saved by the Bell, which features Mario Lopez as the fictional character AC Slater.
It's just me now on this one. So there it is. I'm done. It's just me solo riding here. He's coming back. Yeah, I got that one wrong, man. I never watched the show. I never watched either one of them. I know it's gonna grind a lot of people's gears, and I apologize for that. But
no, but you were using it with confidence, bro. I gotta give you a lot of credit for that, bro. You had me fooled, Joey.
I knew it was from one of the two. It was either Saved by the Bell, and thank you, Adair, for that one, or The Breakfast Club, right? Relatively close stuff, right? We're not gonna get too much into this.
Not important details.
No, exactly. Right? But anyways, guys, RGTI working out pretty good for us. We take a little bit more off the top. This is choppy, so it may take some time to really, really get going. But I like that it's holding up against the rest of the market, because this can give it some room to run. And then if we do get buyers stepping back in, then sure enough, maybe we get that movement into RGTI reporting. Was it this morning? I believe they reported. Was it this morning or last night?
Pardon me, Reddit?
RGTI.
Oh, this morning, I believe.
This morning, yeah, exactly.
Was it this morning or yesterday? Were you guys covering Rigetti on the market recap, Katina, man? Last night.
Okay, so last night. So there you go. Yeah. We're coming into earnings day one, and that's what we're looking for, just a continuation and somewhat of the strength. Even though it did sell, it is holding up relatively well compared to what the rest of the market is doing, Sharif.
All right, Joey, we're still involved in this GBIO. It's showing me 9s. I got 11s. I got a position on over here. Let's see if it starts printing some higher side moves. We did get that ad at 6. We still have one dip trade here at 92 to defend the volume weighted average price, which has not filled. And I didn't get my dip trade either on BSLK, which is now rocketing up yet again. So this one does defend 5. It doesn't even make its way down to the 10 EMA on the 5. It's just so strong. It's letting really, it's taking out that $0.50. Now, it's been above the $0.50 before. The high of the day is 81. It's had a lot of trouble closing above the $0.50. In fact, if this current candle actually closes above the $0.50, it'll be the first one to do so on the day. So a lot of prints, wicks that is, above that 550 area, but very few closing prints. So I'm monitoring this one. I'm looking at getting in. I just don't want to punch in at highs. I think maybe that I need to be a bit more aggressive with my dip trade. So I'm going to go ahead and set that up at 25s now, okay? So we're going to go 525. Let's see if we can get a dip trade in there. It's already showing me 40s here and it keeps flashing 40s. I'll leave the other dip trade active at 511 just because I still feel that this is a good level because it is that $5 area. We'll see if we can get anything in and around there. But this is breaking out. Here we go. Into the low 60s we go. The buyers are in control here, but there is a seller at 60, a staunchy little bugger. Let's see if he's able to kind of push this one down a little bit so we can get that $0.25 fill. So the $0.25 would be technically about 10 pennies higher than the 10 EMA on the 5. I'm talking about BSLK, guys. It's up 150%. It's a $5 name, having done about 102 1/3 million shares of volume on the day. Let's pack our patience and see what we get there. GBIO just came into one of my beak wetters but didn't cross, so we're not going to get filled. This one's done about 5 1/3 million shares here on GBIO, but it is a wider spread. 6 pennies currently showing me, well, now 2, but it was 6 pennies at times. Let's see if this one's able to work back above and hold above that $6 area. So those are the only 2 that I've got on at the moment. I see WBTN is making moves. Let's load that up and have a look and see what it looks like on the trading screen. And there it is into the high of the day. WBTN, $17.27. And there it is, 35, 38, 40. This is breaking out, 42. Here we go. This is another one that's up almost triple digits on the day, 85, 86%. It's got a lot of volume behind it now, almost 10 million shares traded. And this one only started doing volume, guys, right at 9:30. It barely traded in the pre-market. I mean, it had some price action, but barely relative to what we're doing now. So keep an eye out on that. Those are the 4 that I'm keeping my eye on, including Longeveron. Longeveron is coming back into VWAP, but I'd rather avoid LGVN if I can until it clears that dollar. I realize it's up 30%, this, that, and the other, but I'm just going to steer clear of it until it clears that dollar. I'll feel a lot more comfortable there, Joey. So that's what I'm doing, keeping my focus on these small cap gappers. Let's see if GBIO will pop back up or BSLK will let me in.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Yeah, my guy Charlie Taff, I talked to you guys about my relationship with Charlie. He's either talking smack or asking me about what stock we like. Anyways, all fun and games. Anyway, yeah, so Charlie, this is, I like that you did that yesterday. So Charlie was just telling me, hey man, I was trying to short the market yesterday. It wasn't working out. Instead of him getting tilted or hulking out, as we like to use that phrase, he just stepped away and he came back, tried the same thesis again today, and that's working out really, really well for him. So that's what trading's all about, guys. If you're not feeling it, market's not doing what you want, and that comes with experience, right? When you just know something isn't going to work, don't continuously try to force it, because we were just talking about this not too long ago. It doesn't care about what you think or what your opinion is at the end of the day. But there it is. TQQ's nice short off those highs, guys, looking really, really well. So we won't complain about that. Continuous selling. We want to find some indecision and isolated volume for any form of a pullback and a buyers to step in. But we did get stopped out of this Bitcoin trade, the secondary one. So we're not worried about that whatsoever. Looking for the continuation in strength, and it's just saying, we're going to just go right back to opening price, and then sure enough, we're going to hang around here. If I do get one more indecision, I'll take another stab at it. But again, you don't want to give away too much of the profits that you made throughout the day. So again, precision. Once you're up on the day, look to kind of risk X amount of that realized gain, and then base trades off of that. If you make more, congratulations. If you end up losing on them, well, guess what? You're still profitable on the session. And do exactly what Charlie did.
What?
You come back the next day because the markets are going to be open bright and early. 4 a.m. if you're that type of guy. Early bird gets the worm, but 9:30 sharp. You know that bell's going to ring, and there's going to be plenty of opportunities to get involved. So don't get attached to one specific session. Don't get attached to one specific thesis, because It's a continuous, never-ending game, my friend. Adara, what do you got for us?
Trump has yet to appear here on the stage at this Kennedy Center event. There is a lovely band playing music, but no Donald Trump quite yet. This is supposed to start at 11:15, so at this point, he could show up at any time, and I will let you know when he makes his entrance. In the meantime, I want to let you guys know here to check out our TTV research. I actually have the wrong infographic up, so give me a second. This was our infographic for last year's S&P 500 inclusions and how they performed, I guess, since they joined the index. Now we have the 2025 inclusions. It's worth noting half of these, so 4 of the 8 companies that have been added to the SPY so far this year, were actually not part of quarterly imbalances. 4 of them, so Coinbase, Datadog, Trade Desk, and Block, were added because other companies were being acquired. So it's an interesting look here. Half the companies are up since their first day trading with the SPY, and the other half are down. Now, it is worth noting Datadog, Trade Desk, and Block, I calculated all of these after their earnings report, so they are maybe a little bit lower than they would be otherwise, but to make it fair, I just had all of these basically from their performance when they joined the index to the close on August 8th. I will update this once we get more S&P additions, so not to worry, this will eventually balance itself out. But great look for DoorDash since they joined the index at the end of March. Back to the guys.
Great look there, Adair. Thank you, as always, for the infographics. There it is, Joey. Why is it not filling me? Thank you. There we go. Right at the high. Okay, we're long BLSK. This thing just absolutely broke out into the high. We punched in at 5. What do we got? 79s. It's taking out 40. Go BLSLK. Go. I'm going to take a little bit more over here. Let's leave a little bit for the dream. So I'm going to set up some at 49s, knowing that the high of the day is 45. Let's see if we can get that big move here on BLSK. I had several orders, as you can see, that went unfilled as it did not drop down far enough to pick them up. Now I'm trying to think, do I look to get more in at $6 if we do retrace? BSLK, it's up 187%, really going, really breaking out here. There's a seller at 30. Let's keep an eye out on that seller. There he goes. He got taken out. So now we're selling a little bit down now. We've out of about 2/3 of the position, looking at getting more in, just unsure about where to get some in. So the breakout level to me was 580 to 575. But obviously that whole dollar level at 6 is important as well. So unsure how to square this circle. I'm going to put a dip trade, a small dip trade for 605, okay? So it's going to be smaller than the position that I obviously got into initially. We're going to put that there to defend $6. But that 30 seller just got shellacked, and here we go into 40s. Boom, Joseph, into the high there. There we go. Now we're setting up at 75. Let's go, Mr. BSLK. High of the day, 63. So now we're looking for continuation, and there it is, Joseph, right into 75. Big move up for BSLK. Keep your eye out on this one. 205%, still going right now. Big move here into that $7 area. Look for 94s. What are you doing?
Ice in the veins, brother. Ice in
Man, you were
veins.
making me laugh because your arm was extended out the whole time. I didn't know what was going on.
Ice in the veins.
Hey. All right, Joey, we're doing it live on this one as well. Boom into GBIO into the high side. We got 10s on. We just took out 28s. Let's keep going here, Mr. GBIO. Go, Joe.
Oh, no. Go. I was saying, yeah, let's go, Mr. GEIO. I'm back into some IBIT.
Get it, Joe.
Let's go. We're going to see if we can get a pop on this one. RGTI, we're all out of this trade. We got that pop. The volume stepped in exactly how we were looking for. Did I add to it? No. Why didn't I? I don't know. That's all right. We'll figure that out later. But we're not going to cry home about that one. But this is looking pretty good. I did miss that TQ's bounce, right? So that's unfortunate because we did have some key signals at the lows. But RGTI is going insane right now, heading right back into that $17 high of the day. A little bit north of that is the high of the day. But nice move on RGTI. There's multiple opportunities to add at VWAP, but Devin,
don't say that, man. I don't want to hear that, bro.
Yeah,
that's not. No.
I'm not Devin. I'm not Devin.
You're not even close, bro.
I'm not even close.
You're not even
Devin.
Don't bicep on him, bro.
Jose Benavidez, man.
I like the guy that you were pumped up about. What's his name? Barlaga?
Oh, Edgar Berlanga.
Yeah, Berlanga. Yeah, I know.
And then, but that's my guy. He's hard, man.
Shiraz whooped. Bro, I can't tell you how impressed I was with this guy.
Yeah.
How is he so tall and able to fight in so compact? Hazma, Shiraz, Hazma, or Hazma, Shiraz, or whatever.
You can play that distance as well, too. Touch.
Crazy.
Pop. Anyways, yeah, pillow hands, Mr. EG. Nah, man, we're not that anymore. We're not Devin Haney. We're Edgar Berlanga, baby. Even though he did get beat up the other day, but he still got great knockout power. Watching that guys come up. So shout out to those guys with the heavy hands. But there goes RGTI to the absolute moon here. Wish we had a little bit more shares, but that's okay. We can't complain. We'll take what we got from it and then be satisfied and just learn to get a little bit better. As I mentioned, when we document these trades, we're going to look at how we can get a little bit better, and this is what I'm talking about. I knew I should have added here, and there's another opportunity to add at the volume weighted average price. Market selling, RGT holding up, RGTI holding up, market gets a little bit of a rebound, RGTI go boom. So it's that simple, essentially. It's not truly, but at the end of the day, that's exactly what we're building that thesis off of. So good look there in RGTI. We're back into some Bitcoin. I almost called it something else, but
were you going to say ETH?
No, I was going to go Bitcoin.
Bitcoin?
Yeah. You see what I was getting at.
Of course I did.
But no, we love this name. We love Bitcoin, obviously. There's no question. A lot of money going into it. What did Brendo say, that a top 20 ETF of all time now?
Something like that. Yeah, he was saying that. Yeah.
And I mean, it was the best ETF IPO of all time as well. So, yeah, let's get this continuously rolling. ETHA, absolutely monstrous. We like that. I'm expecting somewhat of a pullback because we've just been going parabolic. I open my eyes and I have to restrain myself from messaging Sharif. Be like, yeah, bro. 3,700, 3,800. So I'm like, don't do it.
He didn't restrain himself Saturday morning, though. I got that message right and early,
and
bro.
I felt like doing it too yesterday when I woke up and I seen that we were at 3,700. I'm like, I was just like, but then you got to keep it cool, right? Because things can obviously turn on the dime and it can flip the switch on you. So you don't want to get too excited, but we obviously like to celebrate as well because we put in the work. We go home, we do the due diligence, and sure enough, you gotta reward yourself. And if that's with a little bit of excitement, we're not going to complain. But let's go Bitcoin.
Yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. And by the way, bro, I just want to put that out there. Message me at any time of the day about your gains. You're always going to have the receptive audience in me, bro.
So do you wake up in the middle of the night?
I do. Yeah. A couple of times. Check the phone.
So when I do that,
you check the phone? DJ. I love it. I love it.
This is all I got to do now. Shout out to iOS 26.
Yeah.
So all I got to do is just go, like, you got
it right there.
Yeah, you got it right there.
But yo, by the way, I always had this because TradingView has these. So you can put the widgets. So I have all my positions, multiple ones on these bad boys. Yeah.
All right, I didn't know that. We got to update that widget. So anyways, we got a $20 super chat.
Jeez.
Everything's funny when you are winning big money. Got a nice win on SMF this morning. Buy yourself some energy drinks, guys, or some beers. We're going to go with the latter half. We want those beers. We don't want those energy drinks. Cheers to you. But yeah, I mean, it's all fun and games when you're winning. And then when you're losing, it's just like, So have fun when you're winning because those losing times, it's inevitable. They're going to come. That's the one thing about trading. It's going to come. So enjoy it. Reap the benefits. Have fun with it. Say, what did I do right on this? And then try to do it again because chances are within a couple of trades, you're going to be wrong and you're going to be like, oh my.
That will happen, man. I mean, just the way it is, like part of trading. On the spot, what music does Sharif listen to when he's in the gym? Pumping beef. Also, people are saying it'd be really cool if you did push-ups for us. Absolutely. We have a push-up Joey, I did push-ups this morning. I just want to say something.
Every day, man.
I'm doing them in groups of 50s now.
Ooh,
yeah, I'm doing them in groups of 50s.
I'm in trouble now.
I'm getting up there a little bit in terms of, but I got to tell you, the form, it's not military form. I'm really trying to isolate the chest component rather than the arm component.
You're going like pulses almost?
A little bit. It's not full up. No, it's not. Just be honest about it. Sure. So, guys, I got to mention this position that I'm in, and then I'm going to mention BSLK. So we're printing up several storms here in GBIO. There's a seller at the $0.50. We got the whole dollar on right now. I've got several more beak wetters. My next profit taker is above that $0.50. I pegged it at 55s, but 50 is the seller. I'm talking about GBIO. But the rage is this one. BSLK is the rage. It cannot stop printing. It's an 847 high, 848 high, excuse me. And here we go. We're pumping back into the 30s. Could we see a halt parameter weasel its way into this somewhere? I don't know where the halt levels are. Oh my goodness. Look at BSLK. There it goes. It is now 300%, 881 high. This thing is all freaking gas, no brakes. The squeeze is on. I got to look at the short interest on this. I'll check it with Perplexity in a second. False halt at 888 right now, 886 high. It showed me the halt parameter momentarily. The sellers came in, it dipped down a little bit. Let's see if it reinstitutes that halt parameter. But for the moment, there's a seller at 50. So we're going to keep an eye out on this one. The rave in small cap gapper world, Adara, is BSLK.
Before we get to crypto, I just want to let you guys know that actually keep an eye here on Oracle. Oracle reportedly cutting some jobs in their cloud infrastructure unit amid some AI spending. Interesting look there. Let's talk here about Ethereum. We'll switch to the daily chart because this has really been the star of the show, the belle of the ball when it comes to crypto. We do have Standard Chartered today announcing that they're actually raising their price target for Ethereum to 7,500 by the end of 2025. Currently trading around this 4,600 level. Let's see if it can actually work a little bit higher because right now this looks like a topping tail candle on Ethereum on the daily chart. We know Ethereum has been the biggest crypto I think that a lot of people are watching right now. Bitcoin, of course, still the gold standard, but we do have Joe's talking about Ethereum a lot. And so even on our show, Ethereum has really taken off. We also have these treasury plays like BMNR backed by Tom Lee, and we've got ASPET as well. So whether you're looking at even personalities here on this show, personalities out in the world, or even Standard Chartered and these crypto treasury strategies, Ethereum right now is certainly one of the leaders. Bullish on watch today with a different crypto story. They are a crypto exchange backed by PayPal co-founder and billionaire Peter Thiel. Right now, I'm seeing the theoretical auction price of $70. So let's see what happens. This is actually almost double its IPO indicated price initially at $37, and it's more than double compared to the initially indicated range of $32 to $33. Let's see if Bullish ends up being as bullish as its name. Back to you.
Is it Circle the one that
I think so, yeah. CRCL, is it on New York? Yeah. CRCL. Joey, it is on New York, so we did do it, All right, so what Joseph and I are doing, so Joseph and I are going to take the IPO, the Bullish IPO. Currently, I know Neil's been keeping you guys apprised there in the chat of the theoretical auction price, the TAP. So Assassino, if we can, brother, can we zoom in on that number right there so we can show everybody where to look? I know you were able to do that. So what you see right there, Assassino will zoom in on it momentarily, but that says TAP. And that stands for theoretical auction price. And the theoretical auction price is important in an IPO. So it would be the same thing we would be looking at if we were trading one of these small cap gappers that was halted either to the upside or the downside. During the halt, we would get a TAP number, and that number typically changes as the buy-sell imbalance changes at the exchange, and that's what we're getting right here. So currently, the TAP, this one is slated to open at $70. Now that changes, right? It moves, up a little bit, down a little bit. The point is to see how oversubscribed this is at any point in the day. Why do I say oversubscribed, Joey?
It's at 70.
It's at 70. And because the reason I say oversubscribed, let's show them this. We're going to get to it on the news, obviously. But the actual price per share is $37 for the people buying this from the underwriters, from the actual IPO buyers. They're paying $37. But that was already above what the previous range was. They were talking about a $32 to $33 range, and now we're talking about $37, and the TAP is showing 70. In addition to that, there's more. They're offering 30 million shares now on the IPO when they previously had been talking about 20. So the liquidity is increasing. Price is increasing. I don't know, man, but this seems like a good, setup for me. None of this ever is guaranteed in any way, shape, or form, and you can still lose money quicker than you can say, how do you do? But the point is to put the odds on our side, Joey, and that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, the odds forever in our favor, hopefully. That's what we're aiming to do. But yeah, I mean, we were talking a little bit about this morning. I think it's just the green light for a lot of cryptocurrencies, especially Ethereum. Obviously, for those who are familiar with Ethereum, you have those gas fees, part of the burn rate, and then also that helps generate the yield that people can get from staking and validating certain transactions. And that's why people are grabbing this hand over fist, 3 to 5% in yield. We talked about BMNR having about over $4 billion in Ethereum. That's going to generate over $100 million per year in net income. So that's why Tom Lee is grabbing this stuff hand over fist. And with the SEC and Project Crypto wanting Wall Street to move the whole financial system into the blockchain, Ethereum's, because it's the most regulated one, has the most clarity, that's going to benefit Ethereum, and people want to buy it. They want to provide all that stability to the chain, and sure enough, they have the ability to profit from it and generate a yield, and that's why we love Ethereum right now. Again, I want to have a larger picture time frame on this, because I think for the foreseeable future, until we've got into what we would like to call fair value, which I don't think we are, because we are still away from those previous all-time highs, I think that we can still climb drastically here in Ethereum, and that's why we're seeing these continuous days of just massive moves, 7%, 10%, etc. And that's why I really like what we're experiencing here in the crypto space. But Adair, what do you got for us?
Get it, Adair.
You have President Trump stepping onto the podium right now at the Kennedy Center, so just be aware he is talking. Keep an eye on Applied Materials. They're reporting earnings on Thursday, and we have a Bloomberg report about this name right now. Apparently, this company is facing a lawsuit here from a rival company in China alleging trade secret theft. This came out about 15 minutes ago, but is just being circulated here on X now. And again, very interesting ahead of Applied Materials earnings report. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adair.
Did you put your
No, let's do it. Are we going to do it live?
You want to do it live?
Let's do it live.
I'm going to set it up as well, too.
All right, so here's what we're doing.
Rocking and rolling.
Rocking on a rolling, bumpin', bump, 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 Bop, 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 You know that one, Joey?
I don't, but I like to dance to that old stuff because, you know...
My old man used to put on the oldies all the time, 1050 Chump. Great fun, great oldies, 1050 Chump.
Yeah. I always like Elvis because my grandpa loved Elvis.
Oh, yeah. My mom loves Elvis, bro. All right, Joey, we're doing it live. Let's do this. So we're going to go ahead, and here's what we're going to do.
Hey, old friend.
All right, so... I'm gonna converse with the Katina man here for a sec. Katina man, brother, so you're losing a limit on open. What price did you put?
I put 95 for now.
Okay, so can I say it? Yeah. So the Katina man put 95 limit on open for now. Now the beautiful thing about the limit on open is you can cancel it, unlike the market on open, which you can't cancel. So why is that important? Because if the tap all of a sudden is at like 105, well then my $90, $95 order likely will, I mean it's not 100%, but it likely will go unfilled. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm just gonna put $100. Okay, we're gonna go $100, and we're gonna go for that amount of shares. And you know, come what may. So there it is. It's submitted, Joey. Come what may. Let's see what we do here. The tap showing me 70.
It?
Oh, yeah. Well, the Lou is cancelable, though.
Is it?
Limit on order is cancelable, market on open or not, right?
So, my brother, we don't need to worry about that.
Yeah, we don't need to worry about that, Joey. So,
okay, let me see what we got here.
So that's what I did right now. I put that in there, and you know, we'll see how Bullish does. So for those thinking, Sharif, you're flying blind here, brother. I mean, you have no price action on the chart. You have no support and resistance. How the hell do you know this is not going to tank? I don't know. But I'm trying to put the odds on my side. And what I've perceived as of late, number one, IPOs, they're back in vogue. We know that, okay? The SEC's fundamentally different. The FTC's fundamentally different under the new administration. Everybody's chiming in, looking to get their IPO to market. Now, that's number one. Number two, the IPOs who have done well right off the bat, to me, have been the crypto adjacent or the AI adjacent ones. We didn't really see that with Figma, even though I know Figma obviously uses some AI, I get that, but it really isn't AI specific. And so I want to, stick with the themes that are working. The ones that are working, again, crypto, AI. So that's why I feel good about this one. It's got Peter Thiel behind it. It's got a good, interesting moat. So they're doing DeFi as well as certain elements of traditional centralized finance. So we'll see. We'll see if the market likes it. If it doesn't, the risk is on, and we're doing it freaking live.
Is it ever on, brother?
Oh, yeah?
Is it on?
What are you doing? How many shares? Oh, this guy's an animal, bro. This guy's an animal over there.
Let's do it, man.
I love it. I love it.
Baby.
I love it. All right, guys, let's get back to BSLK Assassino, because this one's not really giving up $8. A little above $8, a little bit below. I see you, Tisha. Tisha's all over BSLK as well. She should be, because this is the #1 gapper right now in the market, up 226%. And looking to go more here, man. So let's see how this one sets up, and definitely be interested in getting involved in this one. It does look like it's forming the second bull flag over here, perhaps one of many. I perceive a bull flag to have started right around 945 or so, 940. There's your big move up, your consolidation sideways with that flat top break coming at 560. That's where I get involved, scalp, 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 all the way up into 7-ish. And now we've got another bull flag forming here on our hands. What the shape will be and what the range will be on the flag component of the bull flag, we'll see. But right now, definitely off the highs, Joey, about $1 and change off the highs.
Absolutely. All right. So, yeah, we're locked in with that limit on open with Bullish, guys. So we're going to see when that comes out. I mean, praise to the trading gods that everything works out. But at the end of the day,
it is what it is, bro.
It is what it is.
Yeah,
you got to accept the fate that you decided to do. But anyways, here it is. We're starting to work out on Bitcoin as well. It took another entry to get it really working for us here. So we enter here small. Get that stop out. Now we just punch right back in off of this specific hammer candle right there on the lower time frames, and on the 1 minute we can see that displayed. VWAP going to be one of the primary targets, but we're looking pretty good on BTC right now, and this is what I wanted to see: a nice continuation within the strength. And then sure enough, we're getting a bounce back heading towards, or we did break that downtrend. Let's pull up our 5-minute time frame. I think this is really important to note. So this was aggressive, and I was waiting. Considering our opening drives were so strong, at some point I had a feeling that, hey, buyers are going to step right back in. And sure enough, once that downtrend is cracked, we're now sitting on the backside of that trend on a 5-minute print, and then sure enough, we're heading into the volume-weighted average price right now. So not too bad of a look on IBIT. VWAP is going to be the dream, and then anything north of that, positive. Also, I'm going to be keeping an eye on the volume profile, and then as I mentioned this, watch out, because if we don't start to pick up, this could be just a shallow pullback or roughly a pullback into VWAP, and then the opposite party can step in and start to push price down once again. So keep an eye on the volume profile. Stair-stepping down, not the best case scenario for our breakout trade through that specific indicator, VWAP I'm referring to. So we want to be patient. If we can get the volume to kick back in, that might give us an add opportunity, especially if we consolidate at VWAP, and then that's going to give us the ability to add into this one. I'll take a little bit more off here as we get an indecision print, but nothing substantial, because that is a new high, so we'll lock in a little bit more. Nothing crazy, but I want to get involved into this a little bit more. I want to add more size, but I need confirmation at VWAP that says, hey, we're going to continue in this direction and breach through that 6960. And Sharif,
yes, sir.
Today, the break of the all-time highs can most definitely be in the works for Bitcoin.
Okay. Hey, dirty. Hey. Baby, I got your money, don't you worry. Because you said, hey.
Dirty.
That's all I needed to remember.
You give me your number, I'll call you up.
yeah. So good.
Yeah,
all right, man. We're
doing drugs.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do it. All right, GBIO, baby. It keeps going and going. There's a new high a day on GBIO, $6.62. We take it out at 555s. We're in at 4 pennies. I know the position board's restarting, all good. But keep your eye here on GBIO. It is one of the good ones. But I have neglected to mention WBTN. But this thing's over almost 100%. We're knocking on the door of 95. We've cleared 95%. It's just a bit more expensive. So you're going to have to ante up a little bit more over here. $18.30 right now is the price. But there goes the high of the day again. On WBTN, it prints another high, 39s, now 40s. That's probably going to change every second as we're breaking out. We are in the process of breaking out right now on WBTN. It's up almost now 99%. Fantastic look. and good strength on 3 small cap gappers today, if not more. The 3 that we got on the trading screens, GBIO looking good, 60% in the clear. BSLK forming yet another bull flag above $8, looking real freaking good, up 275%. And then the one that I just finished talking about, WBTN, into the area highs, looking to clear 100% on the day. But if you're not interested in these fast ones, let me tell you about some other slower ones that are moving as well. Edit Assassino. This one found a lot of support at VWAP, pops back up. You get, 15, 20 pennies at the wide range there, which is not bad. That's nothing to disparage. Also, Pesky, PSKY. It's a pesky little bugger with a buyer here at 13.15. There was a buyer there multiple times, once, twice. Obi, he is the one thrice, right? How many times did we get that 13.15 buyer? And look, since that 13.15 buyer stepped in last, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 candles in a row on the 5-minute chart of pure greenery as we work back into that $14 area, Dara, where the 14.16 high is there. So we won't be far from that level. So Pesky, another good one, and it's not as quick as some of these other ones. And then if you want to test your fate with FATE, go ahead, put that order on there. Sorry. Put that order at the 10 exponential moving average, because fate really loves the 10 EMA. Every single closing print on FATE above that green line on that 10 EMA. So that's one to look at. So there's plenty going, guys. Trade them carefully. I don't care how annoying or boring I sound. I'm going to keep saying it because they're risky.
Yeah, exactly. They're not. Say it for me one more time.
Trade them carefully.
Trade carefully. They're not here for a long time.
They're here for a good time.
Just a good time, baby. Let the good times roll. Anyways, let's take a look at MSTR Bitcoin here. We can pull up my chart just for a second. Pull, and then we take that up. So that's working a really nice bounce off the lows, looking for the continuation in strength there. I got my bullish IPO that we need to keep an eye out on. But as for MSTR, remind you, it is not Bitcoin, but it is another leveraged way that you can utilize it. This is kind of alarming to me and slightly scary, to be honest with you. I don't like seeing that shelf. For me, it's the price action. Let me pull out my trusty tool that I haven't done in a while, Sharif.
Okay.
So let's take a look at what we got going on here.
What do you got?
For me, this is what I want to see, right? Like, you get this move up, you get that pullback, you get this move up, you get that pullback.
I'm seeing a pattern here.
You're getting the gist of it, right? And then you get that move higher, right? And for me, it's just a consistent base right here that I'm not in love with. Because once you head towards these specific lows, I feel like the support level it's almost I shouldn't say inevitable, but there's a high probability that the chances of it breaking are there. So for me personally, what I would do is just with that shelf, I would just be looking on the at south. Where did my mouse go?
Get it, Adara.
Oh, there it is. So let me get this back here. So what I would be looking for, once you breach this, is when you want to see any forms of indecision south of that support level, and that can give you a good indication that, hey, we're ready to climb higher. We absorbed enough liquidity. That's enough. We've breached the shelf. We've done our pullback, and then now we can take that second leg or that stair step higher. But right now, you can see that we're curling over, and if you run into this base again, just watch out. But if it does construct a higher low, that's something positive for you as well, too. So just keep in mind, it is not Bitcoin, and it's not necessarily meant to track Bitcoin. It's not an ETF. Just mind you, Michael Saylor is just buying this stuff. It's essentially a leverage product for Bitcoin. So what he wants to do is you're going to get the appreciation of Bitcoin, but then you get the appreciation of the actual equity itself, the stock itself. So Tom Lee, shout out to our guy, we love Tom Lee. He says some major companies and even countries, Sharif,
yes, sir,
are leading towards the way of just buying MSTR, because buying $1 million worth of MSTR can benefit you more than just buying $1 million of flat-out Bitcoin.
It's leverage, absolutely, because it doesn't move in proportion to Bitcoin.
Exactly.
When Bitcoin breaks out, MSTR, I don't know, what is it like? What? I know it's not technically a leveraged ETF, but what do you think the proportions are? 2 to 3 times the movement, something like that?
Like, I mean, if you go off of these April lows, right, which we tend to do so, and that peak, you're up almost 90%. So you're almost get at 100% gain. Bitcoin has not done that since those April lows. So that's what we'll call it, a 2 to 1 roughly, a little bit less, 1.5 to 1, but it's still essentially a leverage product.
I like it. And he's generating money. Now, you may not like the way he's generating money because he's really leveraging himself by, you know, he's like issuing these basically bonds. They're kind of similar. They're like corporate bonds with no yield.
Yeah.
Just basically that you can cash them back for cash. So the whole hedge on the play is that Bitcoin continues to appreciate at a certain rate. So whether you like what he's doing or not, I mean, the company is...
Yeah,
it's doing okay.
Someone said until Saylor rug pulls. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think he we talked over the report how much unrealized gains he has. I don't think he has. That's not in the game plan. He just wants to buy more and buy a little bit more. So at the end, I wouldn't be surprised if he wanted to kind of get to that $1 million Bitcoin, $1 million like total million Bitcoin.
I wonder if he has like a certain percent of the Bitcoins in circulation that he wants to have on his balance sheet, but he's not telling anybody. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to disclose that to people. That's probably a tactical disadvantage.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, for sure. I agree with you on that point.
I wonder what he's got in the back of his mind there, but it's going to be really interesting to see.
You think his target, I don't even know if he has a target on which he's going to sell any. I'm sure at some point he'll have to realize some form of gains, but this guy's thinking $1 million. He wants Bitcoin to go to $1 million. Obviously, we all do.
Absolutely. All right, still holding GBIO here from 04s. It did pop back into 60s. I've put my last profit taker at 69, but I got to tell you, you know, even though we're trading this and we're positive on it, I don't feel I've traded it well. And let me explain why. There were several retracements all into the 10 EMA on the 5 where I should have been waiting with resting orders to add, and I didn't. There were several. There was this one over here. I just had another attempt over here. Basically wicks. So they basically spent no time at that level. So in order to get that price, you had to have a resting order in order to get filled, or be super quick with the hotkeys, and you probably wouldn't have been in the highest priority for that fill. But in any event, it's still putting in higher highs and higher lows and respecting the 10 EMA on the 5. But BSLK is coming down into 7. Is this a buy here? The 10 EMA is at 7. So you got the psychological support as well as the moving average support. Do we get a hold here at 7? I was looking for something like this, maybe a 750 bull flag range between 750 and maybe to 825, 850 at the outliers. But if this is going to be a bull flag, it's going to either have a breach of the range or it's going to be one of these skewed bull flags. And we've spoken about this. No two bull flags are created equal. They all look a little bit different. But anyway, BSLK coming back down into that $7 area. Let's go ahead and load it up on the trading screen so we can get a gander of what the spread looks like over here. And it is at 7, and it just momentarily lost 7. But the buyers stepped in quite aggressively, pushing this back above into the teens, now into the 20s. Seller at 19 here, a large seller who's posting on the gateway at 19s. Can we shake them? So for the moment, we do get that bounce off 7, a clean bounce off 7, might I add, but we can't really ascend any higher than 19s, at least for the moment, because that pesky little bugger is standing in our way. I have no issue with him. I'm not even in the trade, but we'll keep an eye on BSLK, to the upside over here. I don't want to remind you guys, WBTN. I want to say there's some selling here into 40s, not even into the $0.50. So 18, 40s, I want to say the sellers are starting to step in. And now you have 3 candles in a row on the 5-minute chart, all with lower highs. I don't think that's exactly the end-all and be-all of the analysis, but something to be on the lookout here, especially since we're getting a little extended. The 10 EMA on the 5 has been all the rave, as it typically is with these small-cap gappers. Don't ask me why. That's just what it is. But we're getting a little extended. Oh, wow. What a drop there by WBTN from that 18 to 3rd all the way down to 1790, man. All right, these ones are around for a good time, guys. Here we go. So now we're talking about that 1750. Do we pick it up off here? That's the 10 EMA on the 5. We are literally at it right now. So do we pick it up? I'm going to pick it up here, Joey. I'm going to pick up small share size. We're going to give this one a little bit of room. Where's the 10 EMA? I just have to be able to see this quickly. 1750. So we got 61s on. We're going to give this to low 40s. And then we're going to have to give it a nice little spread there. And then we're going to post at 75er. We're going to post at 75er, and then we'll post into the double eights as well. See if we can get something in and around there, and then maybe even a move back up into 18. So this will be a 10 EMA on the 5 pullback. I won't give it that much room. We get stopped out. That's fine. We're having a good day. And we already got stopped out. Joey just broke down pretty aggressively there.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Just like that, right away.
Right away. Straight to jail.
Jail right away. Right.
Yeah, it didn't hold.
No, it didn't hold. But yeah, we added a little bit here on Bitcoin. This is the consolidation at VWAP that I was referring to. Now let's see if that level holds up again. Nice. Just essentially free rolling 68.83 is my average price. So I'm only going to give this around 10 cents or so, a little bit less because we obviously don't want to take a losing trade considering that we just put this on here. So now, boom, it's starting to pull back a little bit. Maybe it's going to take a little bit more time, but that's okay. We'll figure that out here momentarily. We got about 10 cents until we do get stopped out. And as long as this base holds, then we might be chefing up. Volume starting to cool off. That's something positive, especially on the, okay, there you go. Eat those words real quick. Liquidity grab, maybe, hopefully. Ooh, no, look at the tape there, guys. Oh. Really, really, really weak. Okay, so you get some defense stepping back in, but not reactionary on the tape, and there it is. Just like that, trade over, unfortunately, guys. So yeah, I was looking for that continuation. It had other plans, didn't want to do so right at VWAP, and the rejection came right in. So it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, the G's aren't even full out. They're not even full, brother.
I can't believe you're going to go there. We're not having this discussion on camera.
But
I just won't have it.
They're not even
I won't
full,
have
brother.
it.
There's a lot of room back there.
I'm not having this. You're not luring me into this discussion.
There's a lot of room back there. That's all I can say. That wasn't as full as I was expecting.
But you've seen how these jeans are lately.
Yeah.
You float in those bad boys, bro. You float in those bad boys.
No, you gotta.
That's the new style now, Joey.
Man, what is this nonsense? So there it is. It essentially just lick grabbed me, and then now it's continuing to climb higher. So that's a little bit of BS. But I mean, we can try continuously milking this trade, or I shouldn't say milking it, but just essentially keep running at the same thesis until we're just like, 100%, this is not going to work out anymore. So yeah, that's what we got going on. TQ's bounce as well, Sharif, starting to pull back in towards that low of the day. So that might have added some selling towards Bitcoin.
What's going on with the mag, man? Why is everything negative all of a sudden?
Well, bro, we've been up ridiculous over the past since April, right? It's been just on a non-stop run, and we know that August, obviously, the dog days of summer, things cool off, right? We want things to sell off a little bit leading into the Christmas rally during Christmas time.
Boom. Yeah, because you and I were talking about it. We're looking at the chart the last 4 years. We've had a midsummer sell-off for the last 4 years, but we never had the kind of pull-forward sell-off like we did in April.
Yeah.
So did we pull forward, that midsummer sell-off? I'll never forget this. It was, I think, August 2022. I was like 3 months deep here on the floor. I started in May. And there is this event that always takes place in August. It's called Jackson Hole. It's like this symposium where, Jerome Powell, some other Fed bankers, some, economic speakers, they all go, they all, shoot the breeze. And that's when Jerome Powell said higher for longer. And I'll never forget the mid-August sell-off that we had that basically went all the way till October. We were selling from August till October. And that's when Meta hit $88. And then we know where it's at right now. It's knocking on the door of 800. So I don't know if we've had that kind of mid-year sell-off like that to kind of pull forward things. All right, I just heard Neil say the top is $75. So being the skeptic that I am, I weaseled on over to my own level too. And in fact, it has increased up another $5. The theoretical auction price for Bullish now $75, Joseph. We're talking about an IPO that had a range of like 30 to 32, $37. I think it's 37.
Do we think Jim Cramer cried on TV during that time? I don't know if you would have seen that. Katina Man might know that.
Did he? I have no idea. Did Jim Cramer cry on TV? Yeah. I didn't see it either. Yeah, I have no idea if he cried. We can check with, what's it called? One of these AIs. I'm sure they can tell us, right? All right, quickly here, back to BSLK. I've been keeping my eye on this one because it's been dancing in and around the 10 EMA on the 5 here for a little while. So I'm trying to think about whether I should weasel in, but the selling hasn't stopped yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for the breakout, and then I'll just participate in the breakout. So I'm flipping to the 5-second chart here on my top screen to kind of see when the breakout starts manifesting. And here's what you're looking for. I mean, probably already know this, but you're looking for an aggressive uptrend like that. This is the 5-second chart on BSLK. So just look for that aggressive uptrend, then you're picking it up and you're riding the momentum. But trying to pick it up on the downtrend, look, you're going to get a great price, but you're going to have to be super accurate with your levels. And I'm not saying $7 is a bad level, but I'm just saying that I'd rather participate in the aggressive up move. We'll see if BSLK has another aggressive up move up its sleeve, because I mean, that was already aggressive to begin with. So that's what I'm looking at right now. But GBIO is losing the 10 EMA on the 5. So if it breaks down, I want to say below the 20, which is 15s, that's where I'm going to end it. So we're long at 4s. I'll get out if it loses the 10 EMA. I'll set up again at VWAP if it does move back into VWAP. So let me go ahead and put my out right now. Put my out at 612. We'll give it to 605 just in case. And that's where we're set up or sell order there. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on, guys. GBIO, BSLK, WBTN, they're all in my on my focus right now. And we'll see what we can do with these bad boys. All right, John Del Segno, Sharif, we also have inflation reports tomorrow, so probably a lot of selling in case the bad number. Not a bad assessment there for sure. And now you have a lot of questioning about whether or not, you know, some of these numbers. Well, who's reporting the inflation tomorrow? Is it Jolts or what is it? Adara? PPI? Okay, we're going to, okay. You couldn't just come in over here. Go to Adara.
Yeah, it was going to be PPI. I can just do happening now whenever. Actually,
sure, let's go to happening now.
Little that clip.
Let's find out what's happening now. The market is near day's lows. We did bounce nicely off that 579 level, though, on the Nasdaq. Let's take a look at the S&P 500. Looking pretty similar. This one a little bit closer to its low of day here at 643. Interesting that both of them right now finding a little bit of support at the whole dollar level, which has always usually been found to be a bit of a source of support and resistance. Donald Trump is still talking. Nothing he's really said has been market related. Not a lot of it has been related to the Kennedy Center either, though he did spend quite a lot of time talking about the Rocky movies because Sylvester Stallone was being honored. So if there's anything market related there, I will, of course, let you know. Bullish IPO is really what we're watching. I can't show you guys a chart for that yet, but I can tell you currently the theoretical auction price, as Neil just mentioned, $75. So that is now here. We are almost double that $37 initial IPO price. Let's find out what happens. I guess now we're more than double, so good luck there. CoreWeave, trying to find a little bit of a base. This is an earnings day one mover. Same with CAVA here, CAVA, both of these names trying to bounce a little bit off of their lows. But a lot of these earnings reports yesterday were just not well received, even though both of those beat on one metric, missed on the other major metric. Interesting look here. Tonight for earnings, we do have Cisco. You can catch those with Neil and myself. We'll have to see if it dumps like a truck. But way before Cisco earnings and before that bullish IPO, we have Neil and his lesson of the day. So without further ado, Neil, give him what you got.
Thank you very much, Dara.
Yeah, lesson of the day here. So I'm gonna make it twofold because we're waiting right now for bullish, and you're sitting there, and if you get like too antsy or work yourself up or just stare at the charts and all that kind of stuff, you can get messed up. You're just in the wrong head frame. I'm going over some fantasy stuff to keep the brain going. Sean and I were literally talking some fantasy football just to keep the brain loose and not get yourself too worked up, because when it happens, it happens. But there's one simple thing I wanted to mention, just because looking at Circle and CoreWeave, a couple of recent earnings names, right, one before, one after the bell, last couple of sessions. It's the rejection candle. When you have, like, earnings matter a lot, obviously, but price action on earnings when you get increased volume sometimes can be very, very telling. And I want to point out something that you saw yesterday in Circle that could have maybe helped you with CoreWeave today. You see the ridiculous topping tail candle in Circle? Pull up a daily chart. On the daily chart, what does that look like? Yeah, that looks like a pretty nasty rejection higher above 170 bucks on Circle. So what happens today? The next day, it tries to spike, runs into first resistance, and you get another rejection candle. That's just simple continuation. Selling on big volume begets some selling on continuation in Circle. And things can be fractals, another way to look at it. Higher time frame goes to smaller time frame. But it's not even about this happening on Circle or looking at that in particular. It's more when you see that pattern somewhere else. Because CoreWeave was very similar action. Big time rejection candle. Daily chart tells you there's your rejection candle on the daily. I think we all know what it means. Topping tail, clearly a big level, gets rejected. Right at the open, the other way this can play out for continuation is not the pop, which I was looking for in the 141. Like, you want the pop into prior resistance. It can also be the simple breakdown. Continuation happens in two ways, right? Like, either it finds a lower high resistance if it's a down move, or it simply breaks out the low of the day. But it's the initial rejection candle that tells you something. A lot of times people look at a reversal and say, that's where you take out profit on the long. Well, if you think it's going down, you can also short the thing. Short the stock, whatever it might be. CoreWeave down 17% today was obviously a good opportunity. If you were bullish, not going to be any good. But it gave you a reason to be biased. Both CoreWeave and Circle gave you a reason to at least have the short bias, which was the topping tail candle on the daily, and then any kind of a follow-up setup. Now, not a huge move in Circle, but obviously if you shorted the pop, it would have worked out. It doesn't end up breaking that low. Keep an eye on that 150. Seems to still want to hold it. But CoreWeave, lots of continuation. In a bull market, obviously we want to be long, in a general sense. But when you get these big topping tail reversal candles where a lot of people start thinking, hey, that's not a bad place to trail out of a long or get out of a position or take some profit. Not a bad place to be biased to the short side, at least on that individual name. So pretty simple lesson. While we're here, because why not, for anybody that doesn't have access to this, we're still looking at $75 on Bullish. The paired volume has been at 2 million for a while now, so that, I don't know, I'm just a guess, but that suggests to me that we're not close, because you'd think that number, like the paired, would be moving around a little bit more. I wouldn't be surprised if it, that 75 turns to 85 or 95 before we settle down. And it's only noon. Last time it was 2 o'clock by the time that we opened up. So yeah, be very patient with this. Good luck to everyone out there that plans on trading it. Good luck with the rest of your trade. But simple lesson of the day. Best of luck to everybody.
Thank you very much for that, Neil. Informative as always. Catch Neil every day around 7 or around 12:30. But guys, I know you want to do Razor Roof, but I got to cover this, Joey, because this thing is really going here. BSLK is breaking out again, guys. Here we go. Zigging and zagging right now. Let's keep an eye out on this one. Let's see if it's got the juice to take out that $8 area. Now, we know that there was a whole bunch of selling in and around 8, even though it's an 886 high. But we're breaking out again. Good look right now on BSLK. Keep your eye out on this one if you're into the small cap gappers. Looking for support on this bad boy over here at around the $0.75 to 2/3. So a bunch of topping tail candles on the 5 into that 790 area. So let's see if we got some juice over here, dipping back down into that 10 EMA on the 5-second chart. Let's see if it continues to lose that area or whether it continues to make a move back up. So BSLK definitely getting some selling here, at least locally. Can we kind of recover, make new highs? Let's give this one the old college try, so to speak. Set up some here. What do we got? 71. So let's just give this to 55s. We'll give it tight amount of room up on that bad boy. So seller at 72s now. So you got a staunchy little bugger who's kind of preventing us from ascending right at that 70 area. Look at that staunchy seller at 70. Can't shake him. Now he's selling at 69s. Let's see if we can shake that seller at 70. There he is again. Yeah, so that's annoying kind of seller there. So Joey, I'll send this to you while I keep my eye out on BSLK.
Absolutely, guys. All right, so there goes Bitcoin right back to our add point right there. So there goes Bitcoin right back to our add point right there. And then sure enough, it's starting to climb higher. So for me, this is essentially... Anything,
guys, we're getting active sounds in our ear. There's a mic triggering back at the production desk so we can hear the boys talk from the back.
Just make sure you guys aren't hitting that button, please, and thank you, because, we're hearing everything there. Very loud and clear. There's no questioning that. All right, so, we're right back into this ad, but sure enough, I think at this point, considering we just turned around, we will breach this key pivot. And then also, as for Ethereum, we're riding right into that downtrend line, so keep an eye out on this for this to be snapped. So you can see we have multiple points that we can touch on this, and then now if we open up on a 5-minute time frame on the back side of this, maybe we'll get a move for that continuation higher. But I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not expecting too much from Ether today, considering like boom, boom, boom. Look at these moves that we're experiencing. Excuse me. So yeah, I'm not going to be surprised if it's going to be an inside day. One thing that we don't want is this to close as an inverted hammer, right? So if sellers step in and then we get that close anywhere around this $4,500 level, it's just going to be watch out because you might get that aggressive pull. Uh-oh, I got the hiccups now. To 4,000.
Cover?
Yeah, for a second, please.
Yeah, no problem, guys. All right, let's give Joey some time over here. Still keeping my eye here on BSLK. Scalped up into 75. It lost the $0.50, so we gave this one not enough room, but I feel like it's not really in breakout mode right now. It seems like it's quite consolidative. It's been that way for the last, I want to say, 5 minutes or so. All right, Joey, go ahead.
You're good. Yeah, you're good there, so you can focus on what you got going on. And here goes Ether, right? Starting to crack this trend. Let's see if that can hold. And then I just mentioned as well, too, Bitcoin going to break through this pivot, and there it goes. So a nice look, pull back a little deeper than what I was expecting, and that's what I was saying earlier. I gave myself patience on this ad here. We're going to call it a secondary trade anyways, but then I got stopped out. Get right back in, but you can see the depth within the pullback. So for me to think that we're going to experience this shallow 10-15 cent pullback is where I went wrong. All right, so just keep that in mind. You want to wait, be a little bit more patient, because you got to think about this. This underlying fluctuates quite a bit. It can go from 20,000 to 23,000 in a span of a couple of minutes. So just keep that in mind. More patient on the deeper pullbacks. And then if this ad was right here, then boy, we would have been having a good old time. Even though we still are, it would have been a lot more fun because I'm like, hey guys, look at what we're doing, look what we can present to you, and I know that everyone in the chat has the ability to put on these style of trades as well too. So keep that in mind. Tap on BLSH still at 75. I like that, not too bad. We're not going to complain. And RGTI starting to pull back in as well too. We'll put this up to the 5-minute time frame. We can see this a little bit clearly now that the rain is gone. And then sure enough, boom. We take a little break, even though it was a small win here. We hop right back in, and I mentioned you got to document these trades because you got to go back and look and say, hey, how can I make them significantly better? Obviously, no one trade is the same, but there's similarities within a system. And here it is. You have a definitive base being held right around this 1590 level. We'll call it 80s. To be fair, holds it. We're in a little bit early, but then there's multiple ad opportunities, and that's what we got to do to get a little bit better is just go back, take a look at what we did, and then sure enough, next time it's our job to execute and just attempt it. The chances of you being wrong are high, but then also you just got to continuously take those stabs. Go back, redefine everything. Hey, this is where I went wrong. This is where I went wrong. What can I do to get a little bit better? And then the next day, it's your job to go and execute there, Sri.
Well said, Joey. I do agree with that. Yeah, still hearing it, guys. All right, TNON. I want to shout out Nilraj for calling this out. Not a bad one here, Nilraj. I think that we're up. Where are we up here? Sorry, just let me update my screen to see what the percentage up on the day is. 16 1/3%. We're at the day high here. Look, there's not too much volume though, so you have to be careful here with Tenon Medical. TNON is the ticker. 1.42 million shares traded on a $1.71 name, so which is light, but it's got a very respectable chart pattern. Yeah, Assassino, it's not continuous. It comes in, comes out, comes in, comes out. So it's not like always.
It's just a button being hit or something.
Yeah, it feels like it's a button getting triggered or something like that, Assassino, so let me know. TNON anyway. So going to keep my eye on this one. This has been very respectful of the 10 EMA on the 5. As you can see, only one print. What? Oh, I thought it was like it was open. Only one print has actually been below the 10 EMA, and it ended up closing above it. So it just wicked below the 10 EMA, but for the most part, TNON has found respect with that 10 exponential moving average. I'm still holding a piece here on GBIO. My thought here has been that we're going to clear that $0.50. right? But before we were putting in higher lows. So that kept me kind of more optimistic. Now, even though we're still holding above the 10 EMA, we're putting in a bunch of lower highs, and we have been essentially since 1140. It's almost 1215. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 candles here, part of this lower high series that we've been putting in on GBIO. So we're well away from my entry, which is kind of why I've been able to give it room, but that doesn't mean that it's the right thing to do to hold on. Pesky continues to make moves. I have taken nothing on Pesky. PSKY is the ticker. But this one's given you all sorts of opportunities. Bless you, Adara. From 1320 area low into 1423, and area low here, I mean the pullback at least closer to the volume weighted average price. This thing opened up yesterday, or closed yesterday, excuse me, below $11. Now it's taking out 14.25. So Pesky certainly has a good bid under its belt right now, but you know how high we really get. So that's what I'm looking at. GBIO just lost the 10 EMA on the 5, so we'll have to pull that one out. I've put my order to stop out at 15s. So if it loses 20, we'll get stopped out of that one. So that's my look right now, guys. I've been trying to trade BSLK as a breakout while it's still kind of forming a bull flag. So taking some prints, getting stopped out. Taking some prints, getting stopped out. So gonna wait for this one to decisively take out some area highs, and then maybe we'll punch back into this one. Joey, just the tap, still $75 showing here on BLSH. Still waiting for that IPO to open up.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, are we ever waiting for that one there? Sharif, looking forward to that for sure. Can we get a poll out maybe here? I know you guys are busy, but can we get a poll out? Will Bitcoin break through its previous all-time high today? Yes or no? That's as simple as it goes. I might go with yes. I think I'm in the yes camp for sure. I'm in the yes camp. Maybe not during the intraday session, but we have until midnight, right?
What's the question?
Will Bitcoin break through its all-time high today?
Oh.
What camp you in?
Today.
Yeah.
Can I have a look, see where it's at?
Absolutely.
All right. I want like that. 121.5.
Yeah.
All right. Where were we high at the day? We were knocking on the door of 122.750.
Yeah.
This is interesting here, Joey. I'm going to say no.
You're going no, eh? You're in the no.
When's the cutoff?
Midnight.
11:59:59?
Yeah, 11:59:59. Exactly.
I'm going to say no.
Ooh.
Hold on. What is it? The all-time high is when
123.
123 on the dot?
Yeah, 123 is.
Find out exactly what it is, Joey. Hold on, man. Okay, so it was July 14th.
Yeah.
We hit 123.414. Do you have the same number?
Yeah, I got something around
123.414. That's all-time highs on my list. And then today, we got 122.610. I see that as the high.
Yeah.
From the 11th, I see 122.610 as well.
Yeah.
Okay, dang.
Willie, you gotta vote. Get your votes in.
All right, I want to see what this one's going to do.
Great pool, Havana, yes. Let's
Get it,
go.
Havana.
I don't know. I think it can do it, right?
I want it to do it. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's no questioning that. I love what ETH is doing as well. We're on the backside of that trend, Sharif. So maybe we'll get involved in this one. Small size, maybe small potatoes, as my guy Dooley likes to say. All right, backside, start small. Just south of VWAP, we're going to use as our stop loss, because why not? There it goes. Look at the strength start to pick up in this thing, Sharif. And I mean, as we head towards the high of the day, we might be pony boy golden on this poll here. So let's see what the votes are. 254, guys. Make sure you get those votes in. And also, meanwhile, while you're at it, you may as well go $ and then your ticker to choose for the rundown. I already did mine. I'll do it again. And I'm still absolutely shocked in the fact that Bitcoin or Ether has not made it in the top ones. I don't know if it's available or whatever it may be, but come on, $, get those tickers in. Bitcoin, let's go up about 1.7% on the day. So I think there's plenty of room to climb. And also, we're now in Ethereum because it is on the backside of this trend. I think that we have the ability to go and test that high of the day. Let's wait and see. Time's cooking.
Absolutely, man. I do agree with that. I'd be very pumped if Bitcoin broke all-time highs today. No question about it. All right, guys, I don't have too much to update you on because some of these small caps have really slowed down, but we'll bring in the side chart and talk about what's moving. It's really Pesky and TNON. PSKY and TNON These ones are trading at highs. You still have a lot of opportunities, I think, in WBTN and BSLK if they can get off the schneid. But this downtrend here on BSLK is kind of uninterrupted. So yeah, sure, you're finding some support at that $7 area, at least initially, but these lower highs and this downtrend over here makes you feel like the short sellers, the profit takers, they're in control for the moment. So I wouldn't be going too gung-ho into this. Stuart D saying RSLS is popping. Oh, wow. Say less, man. Let's go. I look at my Bitcoin chart, I hear your voice, and I know exactly what you're getting pumped out about. That's so funny. Shout out to Yannick, who's saying the same thing. RSLS. Everybody's yelling about RSLS. Oh, baby, look at that breakout on RSLS. And it's a trade de novo. This is a new trade, guys. The volume just started coming in about 20 minutes ago. 1150 pop up there from that $2 and change where we're trading at. And now it's 375. We're up big, guys. 77% and quicker than you can say Katina, man. Ooh. So keep your eye out on this one. We're going to have to take somebody off over here. Longeveron just lost its spot, so it's RSLS. Get it, Adara.
Sharif, would you like the catalyst on this?
Absolutely.
So there's, I guess, a new company trading as Viome Therapeutics under the ticker HIND on the Nasdaq as of August 15th. This follows their merger with RSLS. So it's, I guess, maybe this is a SPAC type situation. I would like more details. But either way, apparently RSLS merging with Viome Therapeutics. They're going to be trading as HIND again. If I get clarification whether or not this is a SPAC, I'll let you know. But that's kind of the vibe I'm getting. The sticker's rallied in the past. We've got a $5.79 million market cap.
Love it.
2.19 million share float. 9.5% short float.
Thank you very much for that, Adara, especially that short float. Yeah. And the float definitely helps. Knowing it's a former runner, its price levels, all this kind of information you got to have before you weasel on in. Seller at 60, seller at 60. Can't shake them. It's a hidden order there because there's like only a few hundred lots. Here we go, 60 again, rejects again. The high of the day is 73. So we already know we can get up to 73, but now it's a short selling, the profit taking at specific levels that we need to be careful of. So a few ways you can do this. One, you can have an eidetic memory like that person at the big desk, get it, Adara, or you can use another tool. I use the 5-second chart. You can also use Bookmap just to be able to spot where the sellers are on a recurring basis. You can go back, refer to it. Oh, that's right. There was a seller. There was a buyer here. There was a buyer there. You can see that on the level too, but you got to be able to remember it. If you don't remember it, then it's kind of useless there. So that's why I recommend a visual aid. Whatever visual aid assists you, have at it. Otherwise, don't have at it. So that's what I'm looking at right now. We're going to look for a breakout here on RSLS, Joey.
All right, cool. Are we ready? Are we ready for that there,
Get
Andre?
it, Casino.
No, okay, anyways. Okay. Ooh,
get back
Beta
to it.
Pro. Exciting news for Canadian sophisticated traders. Okay, Beta Pro. Global X Canada has just launched 6 new triple leveraged ETF offering 3x bull and 3x bear exposure to the S&P and the TSX 60, semiconductors and U.S. Treasuries. Even better, they're offering a special fee rebate, dropping management fees to just 65 basis points until December 31st, 2025. These ETFs also employ currency hedging to seek neutralize U.S. dollar exposure, providing performance that may now more accurately reflect the underlying U.S. equity indices. If you're a tactical, sophisticated trader looking to amplify your performance, check out betapro.ca 3x daily to learn more. And there goes Ethereum. Oh my days. Oh my days, bro. Let's go. This is exactly what we want to see. Ethereum gone once again. Oh my days. Sharif, look at this thing just.
Oh my God.
There it is. Oh my days. There it is. Man, oh man, oh man. On the backside of the trend. And now it's put in a new, it's rejecting aggressively, put in a new high of the day, but the volume stepping in as well too. Man, when you're rolling, we're rolling. What do you got, Sharif?
Get it, Adara.
Trump is talking about Fed Chair Powell again. He was asked, what are your thoughts on the Fed with regards to suing Powell? And then Trump just said, too late. He's too late. And then said that he's now going on about the Fed buildings, just so you guys know. That is very much still a thing. It sounds like he's at least still open to suing Powell over these renovations. He's talking about the pumps in the Fed building. and the basement. So if we get more details, I'll let you know. But I just want to let you know, Federal Reserve currently being discussed by President Trump. He's been taking questions for like 20 minutes or so now. He started during Neil's lesson of the day. Also, guys, speaking of the potential Fed chair pick, I am currently working on an infographic with the updated picks as reported by CNBC. There are now 11 contenders or so, and I will be posting that very soon. Back to you.
That's my favorite song right now. That is my favorite song right now. Legit. Adara with that song.
Too Legit to Quit?
No.
MC Hammer?
Ever since I was legit. Yeah.
Love that song.
With Cardi.
Yeah, that is my track right now. I'm running. That gets me amped up. Ever since I was legit.
Love that.
I was legit. Okay, Ether, this is not
Ever
good,
since
though.
I was a kid, I was legit.
Yeah, same.
Oh, I thought you said...
No, a jit. A jit
I
is
thought
like
he was a kid.
Yeah,
Oh,
jit.
okay.
Yeah, jit is, I guess, I think a Florida term for maybe.
Is it actually?
For kid, yeah, jit.
Interesting.
Just a little one. So there it goes. A nice pop there in Ethereum, but we are getting a key rejection level. One thing that we haven't done today is taken a look at the chain. So let's see if there's anything definitive up there, considering what it's got going on. Sharif, I know you're cooking up, so anytime you want
okay, let's just cover this while you get ready. RSLS is breaking out, guys. Here we go. We're long at 69, my absolute favorite entry. We've just wet the beak there at 82s, and now we're waiting for a whole dollar touch and drop. So where am I setting up? I'm going to set up at 96. It's super random, but I'm looking to front run the size that I anticipate at that whole dollar. I'm talking about 4. Anything below 465, 365, excuse me, gets me out of that trade. So let's go ahead and throw that in now. And there we go. Now we're showing high day. 88's now high a day. So we're zigging, we're zagging. Here we go again. 88's getting tested. They just got taken out. 90's now. 95. Here we go. We're a little bit lower than my entry. I'm going to flatten out here. Boom. Into 93s. Don't mind this trade. I don't mind this trade. So I know that there's likely going to be a little zig and zag at 4. That's why I took it out a little bit early. But let's see what it does with 4. Does it hit 4, drop, and then we can pick it up again? Here's 98s, Joey. We're showing 98s now. So that's the high of the day. We're still below that $4. Seller there at 98s. Can't work up to 99s quite yet. So an aggressive seller, a hidden seller too, at 98. It's like nothing was posted there at the gateway, and down we go into the mid 80s. So there is a pesky little bugger right there. We'll see if we can shake him, but I'm looking for 4 rejection, and then maybe move back into a 350 VWAP, something like that. We'll pick up some more, Joey.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, yeah, I like that. Very good point there, James Dell. But yeah, we got to keep an eye out on this candle, right? We don't want this to close as an inverted hammer. So essentially what's happening, you get this opening, you push price all the way up to 35.87. And then sure enough, sellers have the ability to push price back down. So we want to see them continuously push this higher and close with as least wick as possible. The more wick, the less I like that. So I don't have much left on it anyway, so just keep that in mind. But right now, it's not looking too promising, and you might get that slow curl over. As for the TQs, I do like this for potential long as well. You can see that we have this hammer right here. And then also we're forming another one. So that's just another higher low, which is positive, positive, positive. We'll just do our basic trend line. Where are you wrong? At the break of that, get out of that trade, reassess the situation. Sharif, what do you got for us?
Joseph, I know you've seen Trade the Pool here with us for a while now. And now they're actually creating something very special just for you. A free ebook featuring 4 proven swing trading strategies from Trade the Pool's top funded traders. Inside the book, you'll see exactly how they approach the markets, how they manage risk, and what setups they rely on, so you can learn and grow from what actually works in real life. So download it now by scanning that QR code on the screen or hitting the link in the description. Shout out to the great folks at Trade the Pool. Dara, you're laughing. I know something's going on up there. I want to hear it.
Yeah, I mean, Jerome Powell was just called a truly incompetent individual once again here by Donald Trump. He also said that apparently Powell's nickname of Too Late, which was given to him by Trump, will live on with him forever. And it'll be part of, I guess, his legacy. He also said, too, that he's excited now they have Stephen Moran taking over temporarily in the Fed for Adriana Kugler. Adriana Kugler, of course, stepped down. Now, Trump claimed that Adriana Kugler stepped down because she wanted to lower interest rates and Fed's Powell did not. Based on her public statements, that does not necessarily seem to be the case. But either way here, keep an eye on the Nasdaq. Trump just taking his last 1 or 2 questions. Back to you.
Sorry, we're just speaking to the Katina man about like the strategy of Bullish. No, but last time, hold on, Katina man, you put your order a little bit higher. So we all got printed at 85. I'm pretty sure the entire floor got 85s on that. There was no other choice. Yeah, there was no other choice. But you had your order substantially higher. Was it like 100? 105, something like that. That's what I remember.
Like
right
300, I'm pretty sure.
It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
Yeah. No,
exactly.
I'm just. Unless it's a buying power issue, which is a good point, which is why I did the math. Before I did before I took the shares that I set on Bullish, I just wanted to make sure that I had the BP for it. Yeah, and it's all good there. So we'll see exactly how this ends up working. All right, so here we go, RSLS. I try to tell you guys, these ones are around for a good time, not a long time, and I don't care how annoying I sound by saying that, but there it is, 405 rejection. As we said, that whole dollar was going to be a bit of a line in the sand. It doesn't mean that it's not going to get cleared later in the day, but we're going to sell off into the whole dollar, and here we come into the half dollar. Now, this is important because the volume weighted average price and that half dollar, they're showing the same price. So we're already getting some support here at the half dollar. But this is one of those anomalies on RSLS where the volume weighted average price is very, very much higher than the 10 EMA on the 5, and that doesn't typically happen. I'm talking about a 10 exponential moving average, a 10-day exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart. VWAP is at 350 and the 10 EMA is at 3, so almost a 50 penny separation. Now, why is that an anomaly? Because usually the 10 EMA is a little bit higher than VWAP. Not always, but most of the time. That doesn't happen when you get big breakouts like this. The volume weighted average price will track the price a little bit closer than the 10 EMA, at least in the short term. So keep your eye out on this one. I'm definitely interested here. If the half dollar keeps defending, we got another 2 minutes left on this 5-minute candle. I want to see this candle close above the half dollar. And if it does, then I'm going to punch in here for another attempt at 4. So that's what I'm going to keep my eye on right now, Joseph. RSLS, it is finding support at least momentarily at VWAP. Let's see how long that lasts for.
All right, guys. Yeah, so we're still sitting in this trade. We don't have too much out left. One to be exact, so we'll hold this one off. Again, only 20% or 10% of the position remaining. We'll take that off whenever we get that. Bitcoin, I think if we do test that high of the day, someone mentioned this earlier, that if we do go in toward that high of the day and we decide to break, I can see buyers stepping in and just pushing it past that previous all-time high. But Adair, what do you got for us?
Got it, Adair.
I just want to let you guys know Trump has stepped off the podium at this Kennedy Center event. It's now over. The next time we're set to hear from him is at 4 p.m. when he'll be signing executive orders, but that is actually going to be closed press. So no press unless he makes some kind of interview or comments after the fact. Back to you.
Ram almost died over here, bro. Ram almost ended for Ram right now.
Would have been on workers'
You okay, Ram? Do you want to sue?
Ankle.
Let me know if you want to sue. We can set something up over there.
Ice it. She needs some milk.
Oh, goodness. She needs some milk, yeah. All right, for real, Ram, you're good?
Yeah.
I think she's good, yeah.
But I didn't know it had wheels on it.
Yeah, you know why, Joey? Because...
Don't tell him, Sharif.
So right here, what you guys can't see, there's these platforms. Ram, come on the platform so everybody can see it again.
Platform again.
No, seriously. Right there's a platform, and it slides. And the reason it slides, because Adara's desk is actually going to be back there now. So the desk where she's up there, it's actually going to be back there. And so we're going to be able to actually switch our chairs from looking at our screens, and we're going to be able to look at Adara like this so that we can all have that interactive view. So this is where we are right now. You saw Adara. Okay, Assassino, can you show Adara? There. So that's where she is. She's in front of us currently, but there's a whole bunch of monitors that we can't see her, like her desk, our desk, it all blocks that. So all of that, Assassino is going to go over here where Ram is, and we're going to be sitting right there, and Adara's desk is going to be behind Ramin, and that whole wall right there is going to be something very special. Especial.
Muy especial.
All right.
Mi amigo, muy especial.
I know how to say... you don't know how to speak Spanish and Mandarin. And I did it just specially for you.
Oh, you do that to me?
No. It literally taught me that yesterday. I'm like, I'm definitely saying this to Joseph.
Okay, say it.
No, okay, so it's Nibu Hoi Shou. And then I forget how to say Spanish. It's Si Guayan, something like that.
Yeah.
Ni Bu Hoi Shou. You cannot speak. And then I forget how to say the word Spanish, but I'll get, it's a new word for me, Joey.
¿Tú no hablas español?
No habla español. I know what that one means, bro. I've been to Mexico. So we're having a good time over. Shiban Wai Hua. I don't know about that, Attic, because I think you're pulling my leg there, bro. That's Chinese. Yes, Tammy, I know. It's Mandarin. Yeah, but everybody thinks Chinese is like this ubiquitous language. There's two main ones, all right? There's Cantonese and there's Mandarin. If you're from Shenzhen or Hong Kong or Macau, you're likely speaking Cantonese. If you're literally from anywhere else in the mainland, most likely you're speaking Mandarin.
How big of a difference is there? Is it big?
Sound different. The words are different.
Very much
and they
so.
make fun of each other
So
too.
it's not like a comparison for like us, our language, to kind of the UK English a little bit.
No. So I have a buddy from. I always talk about him.
Yeah.
Alfred. He's Cantonese.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I can't even go like figure my way around in China.
Oh,
It's
okay.
Mandarin.
Completely different.
Yeah, unless he's in
Completely
Shenzhen.
different.
Shenzhen or Hong Kong. Again, some of these places that speak Cantonese, they're good. But otherwise, fact check me, Chad. Am I wrong? Let me know if. What? Chinese is not a language? Oh my God! All right, bro. I didn't know that you knew. You don't have to be funny. But yes, that is the situation there. News to me. Okay, I thought you guys were being funny there, but no, I guess you guys didn't know that.
No
yeah,
funny,
man.
no
That's
funny.
that is the case. All right, Bullish. Tap is $80, guys. We're still keeping an eye on that one. Picky eater, I don't know, bro. I don't know if it's a dialect, brother. I'm pretty sure it's an entirely different language. That's what I'm made to understand. But you say it's a dialect. All right. Joey, what do you got?
Someone asked in the chat, what level are you guys looking to get into Bullish at? We have limit on opens, so as soon as it opens, we get whatever price that is at. So boom, whether it goes up or down, as soon as the stock opens up, we're involved in this name. So yeah, that's what we got going on. Let's go Ethereum. Let's see if we can break. Bitcoin taking a little bit of a breath, just keeping our eye on the crypto space because it's most definitely hot today. The way that it's looking, we might have the ability to breach this key level now, considering that I mentioned we want to see as little of a wick as possible and more body within that 5-minute print. But if we breach through this, then I like our chances of holding that high of the day, especially if the volume continues to accelerate and pick up. We're starting to move back aggressively. But also for IBIT, you can see that we've now been taking a breath off of these lows. That's where we were long. Took a position there, and then we added right here, and then this stopped us out. But then we take that additional leg lower. Let's see if we can get an additional move and another leg higher. Volume on the sell side is relatively aggressive. You can see that it's starting to pick up. That's not something that I would necessarily want to see. You want to see the inverse of that on a pullback. So you have a strong candle. The next one stair steps down. And then the other one stair steps down as well too. So just keep that in mind. Okay. Break up this 69.22, then I think we can be off the races up to that $70 level in IBIT. I was taking a look at the Ethereum options chain.
85.
Yeah, is it 85 now? Maybe we got to add a little
85.
bit more. We got to add a little bit more maybe on this one. Okay, let's take a look at the chain. Shout out to the gang. But yeah, for Ethereum, there is nothing substantial just yet, considering the pricing of this stock, right? So we have that $35 level, 10,900 contracts. We're already north of all of these strikes that were significantly longer from the OI standpoint. So I think that we can continue to climb. And if we go to this week's expiration cycle, there's no size, and I'm okay with that. We can go to the following one, 32,000 at 35. So that might be a little bit worrisome, but that's okay. Once this expires, then maybe we'll get to free rolling again on this one. And then I also wanted to mention the NVDA chain. Leading into the earnings, we're about 2 weeks away now. So look at the size at 185 start to substantially grow. When we were first talking about it, we were sitting at around 111,000 current open contracts. Now we're up to 142,000 open contracts. And then if we go a couple strikes higher at that 190, you're going to see 113,000 open contracts. So what essentially can happen is, yeah, the momentum can break us through 185, but then guess what? You have another wall following that. So you have to be able to breach both of those and then hold them in order for to get that squeeze and kind of that gamma effect that Havana Woody, my guy Pug Life, and all my other fellow options traders are necessarily looking for. But considering we have been now building a sample set and collecting data on what we've experienced on NVDA with past call walls, it has aggressively rejected them. So keep an eye out on for that, just in case it does. It will set you up with a good time fade on that name if it does reject those levels.
All right, I just want to remind everybody, guys, we have an IPO. It is It's the name of the company is Bullish. It's a crypto company. Peter Thiel's backing it. They do DeFi. They mix DeFi with a little bit of traditional centralized finance. We can go through it in a moment over here, but I want to let everybody know we don't know when it's going to open. That's kind of part of the nature of these IPOs. We have an idea that it'll be generally in the afternoon. Most of the time they open in our show, so take that for what it's worth. Our show is 3 hours, so between 11 and 2. Most of the time they're opening by the end of our show, if not before. So that's that. Then we also have a feel for how, this one is going to open based upon the theoretical auction price, the TAP. So essentially what's happening here is that buy and sell orders are coming into the exchanges before the actual stock has actually traded on the exchange. And what the exchange is doing behind the scenes is it's pairing these buy and sell orders. And if there's a buy imbalance, more buy orders than sell orders, you'll get an increase in the theoretical auction price. On the contrary, if there were more sell orders to go than buy orders, you get a reduction in that theoretical auction price. So what we've been watching for the last, I want to say, hour and a half, if not more, is this number over here, the TAP, the theoretical auction price I just referenced, increasing little by little. My observation, I think Neil can back this up, is that it's been increasing in waves of 5. $70 it was initially at, then we saw 75, and it was 80. Now it's showing 85. So what do these numbers mean to us? Means that, it's already continuing that hype, that oversubscription. If you were to look at the IPO just from, the institutional phase, it's already oversubscribed. And here's why. It was already supposed to be sold to these institutional investors, these buyers for the IPO off exchange between $32 to $33. It ended up settling at $37. So we already know there was demand for it in the IPO stage. And in addition to that, they were only looking at making available 20.3 million shares available for trade on the exchanges. That also got bumped up to 30. So there has been demand for these. And so that's what we're talking about here when we're making these observations about the IPO. That's what we're referring to. So we have no idea when it's going to open up. We have no idea what the opening price is going to be, but we can make these educated guesses along the way. One thing I didn't mention as well is that the sector for this, it's a crypto-related IPO. Those have been very much in vogue. We saw what Circle did, right? We saw what Webull did. And I'm not saying Webull is only crypto, but it's crypto adjacent. These crypto-related and AI-related IPOs seem to have the best trading, not a hard and fast rule. Again, something that we can just kind of help to, make our trading more efficient, Joey. So that's what I want to mention right now. I was thinking maybe we could do the news a little early.
Yeah, if that's
so we can actually trade the IPO and talk about the IPO when it does launch, right? So what I'm going to do, Joey, I'm just going to load this up on this screen over here so that I can basically exit it right away and then go into this screen and then be ready to trade the IPO. So here's what we're going to do. All right, we're going to start the news, guys, a little early today, only because we've got that IPO and we just want to be ready for it. When it does load up, or launch, excuse me. So let's talk about CAVA. We'll start with CAVA first and foremost. They reported earnings. Where are they at right now? Let's find out where they're at in terms of price action. We're still down on the day, if I see that, CAVA. Yeah, we're down 14.75%. And here's why. So the only thing they did better on was to shore up their expenses. So they printed 16 pennies EPS. The street wanted 13, so they did better on the bottom line. That's the bottom line. But revenue missed. That top line number missed by about more, actually. No, actually, exactly $5 million. They printed $280.5 million. The street wanted $285.5. So a $5 million miss on that top line number, with income as well. That take-home money falling substantially year over year, about $1 million, if not more. They printed $19.7 million in profit last year. This time it dropped down to $18.4 million. Still printing profit, but less than last year. And their net restaurant sales did actually rise 20% year over year, but that was driven more by new openings rather than more in-store sales. I know you're going to focus on that, but I just want to mention it super quick, Joey. Now the company's actually expecting 4 to 6% same-store sales growth for 2025, but that's down. They were actually guiding 6 to 8%. So the same store sales, a basic metric for some of these restaurants, down year over year, or sorry, they're guiding lower than they had previously. The shares plunged now. They're about down, I think they're 36% year to date, down on the year. I'll get to this same-store sales traffic in a second. I'll leave that for you. But there were obviously other comps that were weak as well. We saw this with CMG. Chipotle also said same-store sales were down year over year. It's basically this fast food casual slump. Sweet Garden as well cut their guidance, Joey. So it doesn't seem to be like a CAVA thing. It seems to be like an industry thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you mentioned, Sharif, they opened about 16 new restaurants in Q2, ending the quarter with nearly 400 locations. But the company is also looking by 2032 to reach 1,000 restaurants. That's quite a bit. That's a lot. Do we have CAVA? Do we have CAVA?
We don't, bro. No,
we
I saw
don't.
them in New York.
I was thinking of Zoop. You know that? Remember that place, Zoop? I don't know how well that's been doing.
No.
But anyways, but as for menu launch headwinds, the prior year launch of grilled steak contributed to menu cost pressures, offsetting some margin gains. Nonetheless, restaurants' level profit rose nearly 20%, as Sharif mentioned, year over year, and held a steady 26.3% margin, confirming the efficiency of CAVA's operating model. Adara, what do you got for us?
Yeah, so you guys know Roblox on Watch had a little bit of a spike up here. As you can see, that it's still near the low of day. Apparently, S&P is raising its credit rating for Roblox to investment grade. So good look here, potentially for RBLX, though, again, as I said, the stock not super reactive as of right now. Back to you. Oh, okay, cool. I'll stay here.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, I think same-store sales growth that's a metric that matters, and we've seen that really move the needle with regards to, Starbucks, McDonald's. In fact, I think Sean might have mentioned this earlier today. McDonald's, that was basically the reason that we did well on earnings, was because they had better than expected same-store sales growth across all of their regions. So if not only are you missing same-store sales growth, this very important metric for your field, but then you're also lowering the guidance for same-store sales growth going forward. I think it's a yucky look. I don't have much more to say than that. The sales miss, too, was probably just like a...
Are you surprised by this number? Because I was kind of surprised. I'm figured, all right, maybe the consumer's tight. You're spending at some of these, fast food places, but that doesn't seem to be happening. Maybe people are actually cutting some of the fast food out and actually cooking at home. I mean,
that makes more sense to me. Groceries are expensive, fast food's expensive, everything's expensive. Honestly, I don't even know I'm not quite sure how it all balances, to be honest. And I don't know enough about the consumer at CAVA either, because I have never been to a CAVA, and I've only seen the outside of one CAVA, because they're not here in Canada.
Yeah,
but I mean,
I can't really provide a lot here.
As for fast food, it was supposed to be a cheaper alternative, right? So
supposed to be,
but that's not necessarily the case anymore, because you can see, considering what McDonald's was doing with the $10 meal deal, that's probably out the window now, I think. So,
all right, Joey, you want to hear something?
Yeah.
I went, you know Jimmy the Greek, obviously. Everybody knows Jimmy the Greek. It's Greek food in Canada. All right, what did I get? I got the chicken skewer dinner.
Yep.
All right, Joey?
Yep.
And then, I got to get an extra skewer. One skewer is not going to cut.
You're not eating the rice.
I
Did you? Oh, you did. Yes.
I ate the rice and the potatoes.
Oh.
Hold on.
Yeah.
But here's the deal, bro.
Man.
So I got two chicken skewers. You get a little potato, you get a little rice, and you get salad. And they throw the tzatziki on there. God bless them. They're liberal with the tzatziki. Mm-hmm. But I dropped $25 on that, Joey.
Right there.
$25. Because I wanted an extra skewer.
Right. That's crazy. And I mean, when I go to the grocery store, I spend $100 to $125 a week.
I mean, it's what it is, Katina, man. We don't have to tell you, because clearly you got a lot of mouths over there, He's times 4. He's speaking sense. All right, let's go on here. We'll stop being about how much we're paying at Jimmy the Greek at the groceries. We'll talk a little CoreWeave, guys. They reported as well. It was a decent report, but I think the stock did continue to sell off. Let me just check.
Say CoreWeave?
CoreWeave, Joey. Where are we down at? Yeah, we're still down 17 2/3. So it was a loss of 21 pennies per share, earnings per share or loss per share. There was really no direct comps here because of the one-off item. So I don't have an expectation for what the EPS was supposed to be, except to tell you they lost 21 pennies per share on revenue of $1.21 billion, way ahead of that 1.08 expected by the street, and tripling from what they printed last year. 395 million and change was what they made in revenue last year on the quarter. They printed 1.21, so fantastic growth there year over year. They're continuing to lose money because they're spending hand over fist on these data center racks. They lost about $290 $5.5 million, which was narrower than how much money they lost last year. You got to love that. They lost about $323 million last year. Again, a very CapEx heavy business, Joey, as we know. Now their margins, operating margins fell to 2% from 20. Due, though, according to the company, to a one-line item, which was $145 million they had to pay in stock-based compensation. So that's how they pay their employees through options, as well as giving them stock-based compensation. The debt rose to $11.1 billion. Demand for their NVIDIA-powered AI servers remains through the roof. They use it a little bit less of more of a technical term, remains above supply. I'm going to say through the roof. They did expand their relationships, most notably with OpenAI, which is now a major client and investor, so a double whammy there. They also added Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley as new clients, and they acquired Weights and Biases for $1.4 billion, which is supposed to enhance their AI model monitoring capabilities. So we'll keep a lookout for that, excuse me. Now, their Q3 revenue guidance, they're guiding $1.26 billion up to $1.3, easily beating the 1.25 expected by the street, with full year revenue guidance now for 2025 between 5.15 billion and 5.35 billion, again upping that number from the 4.9 to 5.1 that they had guided before. And Joseph, you got to add data centers in order to take on new clients, and that's what they're doing, my man. They're adding a 250 megawatt New Jersey data center scheduled to open next year. So another good look.
Absolutely. Just to add to that point, so backlog climbed to about $30 billion, signaling sustained demand for CoreWeave's AI infrastructure capabilities. But also, to add to that debt part, Sharif, you can see interest expenses surge from $267 million from $67 million the previous year, reflecting elevated borrowing to scale infrastructure, a key margin drag. And that's why we're going to see that most likely that margin go down all the way down to 2% there on CoreWeave. From a technical standpoint, let's take a look at CoreWeave. It's really unfortunate that that put system didn't work, but that's okay. We're past that one now, my brother.
I know. Let me look at it right now.
Yeah,
I got Sim open. I'm still, Joey,
yeah,
I'm $2,300
it's done.
out of the money.
It's done, yeah, it's done. It's essentially,
that's crazy.
Think about it, it expires in September, right?
It does, September 19th.
Yeah.
We have a month.
It's done. It's just like you may as well just close it and
you were telling me to buy a closer one. I was the one that's saying September.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
No, further one, I was saying further.
You were saying further?
Further,
oh, my bad.
Yeah, further. September, we want to go further dated.
True.
So yeah, as for CoreWeave, you can see, guys, after that IPO, we're up substantial. Right, so 384%, but what we're currently trading at is still 215%.
Right.
But one thing to note is just do your basic TA. As Sharif would like to say, you don't got to be a chartered market technician to do this one because it's not that complicated, but still holding some of these key levels. Once this trend line is snapped, watch out. You might get some more downside in CoreWeave considering those operating margins are falling off a cliff.
Adara, this is one that I think you keep your eye on quite a bit. If you trade it during the day, don't you?
I traded a little bit. I did trade it today. I mean, maybe I can talk about it in the market recap if we have time. My first trade, I was like flat on it. I just moved my stop too early. Second trade actually worked out quite nicely.
Good.
But either way, I think right now CoreWeave actually wants to break lower. We've held support right now around that 120 level. Right now, we actually are kind of doing a bit of an intermediary flat bottom break. We're not at low of day, but we're close to low of day. I want to talk here about these big moves on these IPOs early in earnings. I talked about this yesterday in Circle, but I did do some statistical analysis on this. And so, again, this is just like 6 IPOs that reported within the, or it's turned out that reported that opened within the last 2 years. As you can see here, on average across their first 4 earnings reports, they are going to have these moves of greater than 10%. Most of them will have average moves of greater than 10%, right? So CoreWeave making a big move in terms of its pure earnings reaction is not that surprising. No, Circle didn't really do this. We ended up closing up 1%, but we did initially make a large move before giving it all back, right? So again, this is just analysis. It's all backward thinking. It's not necessarily predictive, but either way, I think it's pretty interesting. And I think in this case with CoreWeave, which is currently near day's low and very much in that SSR territory, down more than 10%, I think it is actually true. And it's unfortunate if you just miss like one metric, if you're just off a little bit, especially as you mentioned with a stock that's as maybe overvalued you could do as CoreWeave. It's not super surprising to see a sell-off. Let's see if we're able to hold that 120 though.
And Adara, we could get more of a sell-off in just a couple of days because I believe on the 15th is the expiry of the lockout period. So we could definitely get some selling going into that day. Thank you to Jacques in the chat for pointing that out to me.
I'm going to look at the expiry periods.
Thank you, Adara. double check that. Appreciate that, Adair. All right, let's go on to the Bullish IPO. This is what we're all waiting for. So let's review this now. So we've done this before, but we'll do it again because it's important. And a lot of people here are waiting for this IPO. So here's the information on it. It's priced at $37 per share. Currently, though, it's showing a top of 85. So that's just a number there that people participating in the IPO with these investment banks, that's what they bought it at. But that was above the initial range. They were looking for $32 to $33, valuing the company at $5.4 billion. The offer did expand. So they were actually looking at only making 20.3 million shares available for trade. They boosted that to 30 million, obviously reflecting stronger investment demand. They have, or they're looking to raise $1.1 billion from the IPO, with the underwriters granted a 30-day option to sell an extra 4.5 million shares. It will trade on the New York Stock Exchange, not the Nasdaq, under ticker BLSH, Joey.
Absolutely. VinFast delivered over 35,000 EVs in Q2 of 2025, making a 172% jump from last year. That brings their first half total to more than 72,000 EVs, up over 220% year over year. With strong sales usually in the second half, they're on pace to double 2024 with 97,000 units. They're also crushing it on two-wheelers with nearly 70,000 e-scooters and bikes sold in Q2, up 432% from a year ago, and with gas-powered two-wheelers being phased out in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City by 2026, the growth potential looks huge. You can find them on the Nasdaq under ticker VFS.
Oh, that's very interesting. Joey.
Yeah. What do you got?
What does that number say right there, Joey?
89.
89.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to move it up. We're gonna have to move it up.
You think so?
I'm worried. I want to get the fill.
Absolutely. So then just put it. Then we could just put it at a ridiculous.
I'm just going to put 200.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Let's move it up.
There, yeah.
All right. We'll do it as soon as we're done here. I'm just gonna do it in a second.
Ooh,
so let's keep going.
It can open up any minute.
I know. Right? Well, it is what it is. So let's keep going on with the story here, guys. So. The institutions here are very much interested in picking this up. We got BlackRock and ARK Invest, Cathie Wood's ARK, that is, expressing interest to buy about $200 million worth of shares. The IPO book runners are going to include JP Morgan, Jefferies, Citigroup, so a who's who of some of the bigger institutional names. Now, here's a little background information on the company. They were founded not that long ago, 2021, and they target institutional crypto trading. They combine all the benefits of DeFi, decentralized finance, with the centralized security, so regular centralized finance. I don't really know how they walk both worlds, but that's what they do apparently. They're led by an individual named Tom Farley, who used to be the New York Stock Exchange president. The company is headquartered on the Cayman Islands. It's not an American company. The total platform trading volume exceeded $1.25 trillion as of March 31st. So probably substantially more now with crypto booming. The company, Bullish that is, also owns CoinDesk, which provides crypto indexes, data, analytics, et cetera, and some of the bigger names backing this bad boy. You may have heard of this guy. I may have heard of him as well. Peter Thiel. The IPO taps into the Trump administration's pro-crypto stance as well. And this is their second IPO attempt since they've launched. I don't really know when they tried to go to market, probably not last year or any time before that, maybe 21, 22. But there's also obviously been very strong demand for these crypto IPOs, with Circle raising $1 billion, Galaxy Digital, eToro debuted at $5.4 billion valuation. BitCo and Gemini, Joseph, as well, have confidential U.S. IPO filings. So they could be coming to market anytime.
Absolutely. And I think this is the green light, right? So we're seeing a lot of these crypto stablecoin IPOs coming out. And just with the regulatory clarity, I think this is a good, solid green light. And obviously, timing is extremely important. And this is the time, in my opinion. So Bullish, pretty good. I think it's going to look good. The top is now at $89. But yeah, as for that, I think just with everything that we have going on, just kind of a transition into tokenizing everything, and obviously transaction fees and another brokerage. Essentially, I like these IPOs. I love these crypto IPOs, Sharif.
All right, Dara. Let's look over here on Bullish.
I was familiar with their previous IPO attempt, so I looked at it to make sure I got the dates right. They actually, as far as I'm seeing, they were founded in 2021, and that was the first time they tried to go public in 2021, guys, through a blank check merger or a special purpose acquisition corp, right, a SPAC. They tried to do that in 2021. They called it off in 2022 due to regulatory issues. But guys, it's worth noting, through that SPAC, they would have been valued at $9 billion. Right now, through this IPO, they're said to be valued at about $5.5 billion. So interesting look, they were going to be valued at a lot more through their initial SPAC attempt. Now, in terms of the IPOs, I think, like you said, I think a lot of people are just trying to hop into this excitement around the crypto space. For example, Circle with that IPO. And also, I was reading, apparently, since we've got all of this excitement with Bullish as well, in addition to Circle, apparently Gemini, which is, of course, the exchange that the Winklevoss twins, you might be familiar from the whole Facebook saga. Apparently, the Winklevoss twins are trying to get Gemini potentially IPOing as well through a confidential filing.
Yeah, we just mentioned it.
CNBC, right? So yeah, as mentioned. So I think it'll be really interesting. Let's see what keeps rolling here.
Yeah, there seems to be again, you and I talk about this all the time. Crypto in vogue, AI in vogue. If you're really pegging your IPO to one of those, there's a good chance it really goes here. And I love the backlog of IPOs for crypto. So thanks for mentioning that. I mean, we'll have to wait and see exactly how they all pan out, Joey. But the fact that they all want to go to market kind of says something.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is what I'm talking about. When I say it's the green light, it's go time. It's go time. I think now is the best chance, considering we got the Genius Act and everything passing here.
See you coming with that orange shirt. How are you? He doesn't have a mic, so we'll just get the nod. Yeah. Everybody's everything. Any updates on any of the Ford talk we had yesterday? Nothing new, huh? Yeah. Well, probably a snail's pace by the time they get that bad boy done.
We will talk about the production.
We will talk about the production process, says Randy. So stay tuned for that kind of talk. Shout out to Randy. All right, Joey, let's go on to the next one over here. One that wasn't on the watch list, but this is a big company in China, so I think it has, larger implications for the Chinese market. It is tradable in North America, but you're going to have to go on to the OTC exchange to trade Tencent. I'm not talking about TME, Tencent Music. I'm talking about TCEHY. That's the ticker for Tencent, on the OTC exchange. So their revenue came in, Joey, at about $25.7 billion, or about 184.5 billion yuan. That was up 15% year over year, up from the 161 billion yuan they printed prior to that. Operating profit grew nicely as well, 63 billion yuan, up from the 57 and a third they printed last year. It was very, very diversified in how they were able to grow. Gaming success as well as AI-driven ad and transaction improvements. So advertising, transactions, and gaming. So three sources there. Let's talk about their domestic gaming revenue. We'll start with gaming first. 40.4 billion yuan in revenue, up 17% year over year, thanks to games like Delta Force, Honor Kings, Valorant, Peacekeeper Elite. Don't know any of these games. International gaming revenue was 18.8 billion yuan, up 35% year over year. PUBG Mobile and Dune Awakening, Joey, moving the needle for them. Advertising revenue. The marketing services revenue rose 20% year over year, up to 35, almost 36 billion yuan, with AI-enhanced ad platform and improved Wexian transactions. Don't know what that is, but their CapEx as well, the capital expenditures, money that they're spending on investments, surged 119% year over year. But this we're seeing with a lot of these tech companies, AI upgrades in advertising, gaming as well, some of the reasons that they're spending so much. Their Tencent Music exceeded expectations. But I mean, to me, the article said strong subscriber growth, but you only grew 1 million users year over year. I don't know. Am I lofty in my expectations? They had 123 million users last year. They have 124 this year. So Citi notes faster than expected full year potential, and they plan to expand, Joseph, into cloud and service. They're going to challenge Baba, Microsoft, Google.
It's like less than 1%.
Right? I don't know.
So anyway, but yeah, I mean, as for outlook and seasonal momentum, despite solid results, revenue growth is expected to cool modestly from 25% in Q1 to around 9%. All right, so just keep it. And then add to that gaming and monetization engagement, Sharif. The firm ramped up community events for titles like Clash Royale. That's another game that's involved with them as well too. So PUBG, kind of another version of Call of Duty. I know a lot of people live by Call of Duty, and then PUBG is an additional one of that. So I didn't know that that Tencent was behind PUBG. So that's very, very interesting. But other than that, I can't pull up the chart or anything along those lines.
All right, I just want to mention before we go to Adara, BSLK is halted to the upside, 1028. It is now up 371.5%. Shout out to Casey. Thank you very much, Casey, for that $50 super chat. Look at this. Unreal cash getting dropped there by Casey526 in the chat. Thank you very much. She reads as follows. BSLK. Boom! Thank you, $10 plus. What an absolute print storm she's got over there. So we're going to shout you out, Casey. Great trade on your part. Sorry, Adara, I don't mean to put you on the spot. Any comment here with respect to Tencent? I know it wasn't really on the watch list today.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I'm going to talk more about China, which actually, ironically...
Open.
Let's go.
Open.
94.
Boom!
No,
oh, wow!
I didn't catch a fill.
Dang it, man. I took out half.
I didn't even get the fill.
I got it at 90. This thing is really going. Why'd I take it out all there?
Why didn't I catch that fill?
I did well on it. I took it out way too quick. Katina, you still in it? Katina's still in it. Neil, you still holding? Neil is holding. Wow, this thing's going. Man. Go, Bullish, go. I got the fill. I did quite nicely on it.
I didn't catch it. Wow.
What a bro, why'd I take it out there? Oh, nice, Katina.
How come I didn't catch that fill?
I don't know, bro. I don't know. Why didn't you get that fill? Sorry, man. I don't know what to say.
What?
All right, guys, I got 90. I sold at 92. Just going to put it out there. Not that much. Not that much here. It's going to halt, guys. Here we go. 102.44 is the halt level.
No
here comes the halt
way.
parameter. It's okay, Joey. I mean, there's nothing you can do at this point, bro. You got to let it go. Here we go. A couple more seconds. It's done. There's the halt. Good trade, Sean. Good trade, my man. Katina man's lit up. He's pumped up. He's all amped up. I know it's all good.
Yeah, well, I'm not like, but that's just BS.
I
have nowhere to go.
Oh, hold on. Did you allow? Oh, did you use the loop key?
Yeah.
You're 100. Well, that's so
1,000%.
All right. I'm not sure what happened there, but yeah, that's kind of how that goes, man.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know why I sold so quickly, but anyway, we're up nicely on the day. We're gonna let that one go. It's all good, Joey. I mean, there's gonna be more. You see how many IPOs want to make it to market. I'm sure you're gonna get a lot more better prints in the future, bro. What a move up, though. Makes my trade look like absolute crap, which it is, quite frankly, because my plan was to hit half the order and then to let the other half go, but that's just the way it is. So good job, Sean. Good trade there. All good. Neil got it. You know, it's all good. Adara, how'd you do on that bad boy?
I weirdly got hella slipped, pardon my language, I got a little slipped on it. So I, for some reason, even though I had the loo, I only got filled at 94. Then I looked down, I was like, oh my gosh, is that like 90s, 92s? So I punched out at 93s. I lost like one risk unit on it, but then of course it went up to like 103s. I mean, you learn from it. I was just really surprised by how delayed my print was on it.
Interesting.
That was kind of shocking. I think if I'd gotten filled right at 90s with the loo, I would have been chilling like a villain. Unfortunately, I didn't. It's all good.
It's all good.
Next trade, and I mean, you know, I learned from it. This is my first IPO lose.
Sounds good. Thank you, Adara, for being honest and very, very transparent about that whole thing. Look, man, we're going to keep saying it, guys. There's a tailwind right now for crypto IPOs, AI IPOs. Stack the deck by trading on that mentality, all right? So we're going to keep taking these ones. You saw Joseph and I didn't take Figma. Neither did the Katina, or Katina man got in for 1 second and then he was out. Neil didn't take it. We were all pumped up about the IPO today as a result of the sector. Crypto sector, AI sector, that's what's running. So we're going to continue to trade these. Now, here's the issue. This is a New York stock. So we're not going to get an accurate representation of the TAP, the theoretical auction price. We're going to have to fly blind. It's on the Nasdaq that we have the accurate theoretical auction price. So right now, the TAP Assassino, it's showing basically where we closed out at. So you see the last print there came in at a bit to the left Assassino, could just show them the time in sales. 102.44 right there. That's the last print that came in. And as you can see over here, 102.44 is the theoretical auction price. So we're not going to get any updated looks on what the top is. But as soon as this bad boy opens, we will let you know. Now, here's the deal. They open up in waves of 5. So volatility halts will likely be halted in waves of 5 minutes, meaning the earliest that this can open is 107.34. And how do you know that? You look at the last print that came in on the time and sales, and you take that number and you add 5 minutes onto it. So 107.34, the earliest this can open. What time is it right now? It is 105.53. Here comes what, so about 106, a minute and a half we'd have before this opens up again. You still holding any Katina Man? The Katina Man's still holding some into the high over here. So keep your eye out right now. BLSH halted to the high side. Say it again. The Katina Man is going to take some at the open. So he's throwing out orders right now. So get ready. We're going to open up in about, I want to say 1 minute or so. Yes, just a little bit less than a minute. Okay, again. It may come in waves of 5, so the earliest it can be is 107.34. It doesn't mean it will open up at 107.34. It could be 10 minutes. Usually it's not, though. So we're going to wait and find out exactly what we get over here. I just got left by both these guys. We're doing the news. They're both leaving, and I'm the one with...
on open, too?
All right, sounds good. All good. We'll just do the news on my own. Let's go on to the next one. Circle shares... Katina Man, can you let me know when it's open, please? Because I'm going to be doing the news. All right, so Circle shares drop on a secondary offering. So what happened here? So Circle down after it announced, Assassino, that they were going to offer 10 million Class A shares, okay, for offering. 2 million of those shares are going to actually be offered by Circle, the company, and 8 million shares of that 10 million are actually going to be offered by existing shareholders. The underwriters were granted an option, a 30-day option, to purchase an additional 1.5 million shares. So keep on the lookout for that. The stock is up bigly lately, 450% since it IPO'd on June 5th. Oh, you scared me, bro. I thought I was open here. I'm like about to punch back in. But their first, their report wasn't that great. They lost about $4.48 per share. What they're saying is driven by IPO charges. Revenue was up 53% year over year, fueled by strong stablecoin demand. All right, thanks for letting me know it's open, Sean. All right, here we go. We're absolutely flying to the high side right now. Wow, what a move up, guys. This is a big move. There's a seller at 110, 111, 113. Here we go. So we're just going to punch in. I'm just going to hold this. All right, let's see if it lets me fill. It's not letting me fill. Ram, I can't get any fills. The price action is too crazy. I'm only asking for baby shares here. This thing is rocketing up. It is now 210% in Greensville. As it comes back down now into that 110 area, can we get some buying at 110? The book is all but useless here. Nobody's posting any size. You can tell everybody's just punching in as the price reacts. So keep your eye here on BLSH as it comes back right into the highs. I'm just going to put it on my side chart so I can get a better view of the 5-minute look right now. So I'm going to keep my eye here on BLSH as zigs and zags dropping aggressively, losing the 110 area into 107s. There's a 107.5 buyer. It's still holding above 107, and there it goes momentarily into 106. Zigging and zagging here, guys. This one's losing the bid a little bit, coming into that $100 area. Do we pick this up off $100? Does it even hold up at $100? Now the buyers are stepping in, moving this one back into 8s and 9s, and there's 10s again. So let's keep an eye out right now for BLSH. Great IPO open. And I'm going to keep my 5-second chart up over here so we can kind of get an idea of where the buyers and sellers are stepping in. So BLSH, good look right now. I've got a 109 area of support. I'm just trying to load this up here on the side chart, BLSH. Yes, so 106, there we go. Now we're actually putting in lower highs. So here's what I'm seeing on the 5-second chart. We're getting a lot of lower highs, which could be a move back into that area where we halted, the whole area, guys, which we always talk about as area support and resistance, 102.5. So we're putting in lower highs, and we're coming into that 103, 102.5 area low. Be on the lookout right now. BLSH coming back down into this area. Now, do we pick it up off that 100, or do we pick it up off that area where it halted? Again, 102.5 is the halt area. Oh, Katina, man, what's going on? Every time he prints up a storm, I know I'm going to get my traps decimated. Shout out to the Katina, man. I know he printed up a storm on that one. All right, we're having a good time over here, Joey Options. What do you got on that side, my man? My voice is starting to go, man.
Brother.
Oh, you're eating. Wow, this guy leaves me and he's eating up a storm. And he's got carbs.
What was the problem with your order?
It told him that it had nowhere to send the order, Katina, man. Something like that or another.
Which ECN did you use?
That's what I was trying to ask him. I'm like, you got to look all the way.
Help you for next time.
Yeah, so we're going to keep an eye out on that. All right, Katina Man's helping out Joey Options. Shout out to Benton. Benton, I see it, brother. PSKY is rocketing up. We were talking about this pesky little bugger since we got on the show. It's really rocketing up here, Dara. It had support at VWAP, and then the buying really stepped up. PSKY, 1753 high, but it is kind of losing the bid a little bit here, dripping down into 1680. So we'll keep an eye out on pesky. Didn't have any trades on that one today, but we'll have another very good day, second biggest day we're going to have in a while. The biggest day, obviously, was the IPO that we took a few weeks ago. Today was another good one, but I took twice the amount of shares I took last time. So I'm just going to throw that out there. We don't usually talk about share size, but I'm going to tell you, took 50 shares on this one today, took 25 shares on the previous IPO. We're just getting our feet wet here. Hopefully we'll take more next time. Joey, I might have to ask for an increase on that BP, baby.
You know what that's comforting. That's comforting.
No, I don't. No, not for me. No. I don't know. It would have told him BP issues, though, wouldn't it? It wouldn't have accepted the order. Exactly. Yeah.
My order was accepted. So that's comfort eating. As I was eating, is just so I don't lose my ish and just go buck wild. So I had to step away, eat a bagel, and then now I'm back and we're calm and cool like a cucumber. So
yeah, man. All right, so here we're going to hold down, guys. Here we go, 96, 97. This is going to hold down. Keep your eye on it. We need a few more seconds for the halt perimeter to kick in. Let's see if it's going to be that 96, 97 halt. Ooh, all right, that's okay. There we go. So we'll keep an eye out on this one. We'll definitely give you more updates, but it did lose that $100 area, so we'll definitely keep an eye out on that. So that's a good look there. Shout out to Jag. Yeah, Brett, it's not even really anything about guts or anything like that. We're just putting the odds on our side. So that's a look. Joey, what do you got? Because I'm done talking for a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'm just figuring out what went wrong here. So I had this 0, and that's exactly what I had. So at the end of the day, I had this, and then sure enough, right as it opens, it tells me shares have nowhere to go. Let me maximize that.
Copy that.
Yeah.
Right click, copy it.
Yeah.
Send it to me.
Okay, cool. I gotta copy this and send something to Neil. Copy cell, copy row to clipboard. Yeah, so I'm gonna send that to see what we got going on and why I didn't catch that fill. Everything was right. It was the exact same key that I used last time, but in this case, it just didn't want to give me. It didn't want me to hold it on for the dream. So yeah, it is what it is. We won't complain. That would have been a nice day. It's over now. You can't have it all, unfortunately, and that seems to be the case. The trading gods did not want me to have that one, so I got to send this over to my boy and see what we got going on. And there it is. Send that to Neil. So yeah, we'll figure that one out, and we'll obviously dissect that and see what we got going on from that standpoint. But as for now, guys, really good look. Halt down. That would have been so nice. Open up at 89 and then take that 10. Wow, that's $16 move. That is absolutely insane. That would have been a four figgy for your boy on that one, but that's all right. At the end of the day, we can't complain. We just got to wait for that next one, and hopefully it's even better. I'm sure there's always going to be a bigger and better one. Yeah, don't apologize, guys. It is what it is, right? At the end of the day, we can't complain. I just look at my Ethereum position, and that kind of lightens it up a little bit. So, again, patience, calm, cool. Already not too bad of a day, but that just would have amplified things to the extreme and to the max. But if you guys traded at, let me know. Just type it in the chat, yes or no. Did you take that IPO? You can retire now. I wish I could. That's not the case. We got to build this account up significantly higher. I think I more or less hit the lottery in order for me to retire, because that's what we're gonna need. I keep dreaming. Do you ever guys get that gut feeling? It's like when you walk past the lottery machine or whatever, the kiosk, and it's just like today's the day, and you just gotta buy one.
Damn it.
Yeah, that's what I do a lot of the time. So yeah, it is what it is. It halts down. not too bad.
All right.
Bitcoin still hovering around those areas. And then as for that, I'll pull it up on my chart here so you guys can see, and we'll take a look at the TAP, BLSH, TAP NY. And the TAP is now at 96.97. But a nice move. Was that a genuine print all the way up to 118, Sharif? I wasn't here.
Yes, sir. 118 on the dot.
Wow, what a move from Katina, man. That's $30 right there. Big time move, and that's what you want to see, up 162% from where we're currently trading at. So BLSH, another, smoking hot IPO, that's for sure.
We'll keep bringing you these IPOs, man. Like I saw it yesterday, and I wanted to review it on the news, but we didn't get far down enough on the document to get to it because I wanted to kind of give everybody. Yesterday. Yesterday. So I was going to talk about it yesterday, but all good.
Yeah, it is what it is. We'll take it. Again, we can't cry home about it. Just wasn't meant to be, I guess, at the end of the day. Sharif.
All good, man.
Yeah, exactly. Ethereum heading back towards this key pivot high. Is this going to be a large enough liquidity grab in order for us to breach through these levels? Maybe, possibly. Let's find out. What's Bitcoin up to? Is it moving in that direction? Not just yet, 89.23, but I think this could be the move that we do breach that specific resistance zone. Was once acting as support, now resistance, and then maybe we can go and make that move towards this high of the day. And then in the post-market, anything can happen. I think in the post-market and overnight, we do make that push to the all-time high in BTC. Yeah.
I'm gonna. Am I allowed to change my vote?
To yes?
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, Judge Wilson. I love it. I'll allow it. All right, get it, Joey. No, but guys, I got to bring your attention to BLSK because this thing is rampaging up, guys. The IPO is rampaging. So is BLSK. It's up almost 600%. $14.99 high. There's a seller at $14.99 that we can't shake. There's a double top, 2 candles on the 5, both worked into $14.99. Can't shake them, but we got to go back to the IPO now as it is open and down it goes. Do we find buyers at 90? I mean, we didn't really, this is where I got printed. It got printed at 90 there, and now it is really coming down very aggressively. That is the low of the day, 90 on the dot. And here it comes. We're at 91. We're losing 91 right now. Let's see if we print anything below. We are, oh, wow. There's a bot. There it goes. See ya. Wouldn't want to frickin' be ya. Isn't it nuts, bro? Ram's getting pumped. I never see Ram getting pumped about price action ever, bro.
That's crazy.
All right, here we go. We're going to hold down again, Joey.
That's
86.40. If we see this for a few more seconds, and we are halted. There is the gray out. We are halted.
You went so crazy on this.
Oh, I know, Katina, man. I get riled up over here. I do apologize about that. But that's the look right now. BLSH halted down at $86.40. Yes, throw me here. I'll throw them out after, yeah. $86.40. We are down now. We're still up 133%, but that is that $37 IPO price, not from where we opened up, obviously. So here we go. Be careful, guys. Trading these IPOs obviously goes without saying. Risk is involved. But going back here to BLSK, still zigging and zagging. Shout out to Tisha. I know, Tisha, you've been all over this bad boy. BLSK, loving it because it is one of the definite good ones. I don't know. I don't think we've had a quadruple digit winner above a buck yet this year, Tisha, in all of 2025. Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. Again, above $1, not below $1. So that is the situation right now, Joey.
Yeah, absolutely, my brother. See what he's got going on.
What do you got over there?
Yeah, so that's the one, Neil. Exactly. So I don't know what happened with that. So yeah, it is what it is, guys. We'll continue to monitor this name as it's halting down once again. Top at 86.40. All right. So that's continuing to climb lower and lower, but I mean it's still up 133% off of that. So yeah, not too bad, not too bad. What is the overall market up to here? Not much, right? So you can see that we have a lot of buying pressure stepping in, but these candles, you're not getting more of a program to continue this back into a curl into the volume weighted average price. So just keep in mind, 94.32, boom. You get this move higher and higher.
Oh, do you want me to take over? Sure. Yeah, Joey, let me take over for a sec because Neil's going to look at your level 2.
Yeah.
All right, guys. All right, let's have a look at what everybody else is talking about over here. I mean, well, I got to go back. I got to go back to BLSK because here we go. We made another high SSE. This one broke $15, $15.05 is still, now it's a triple top into that $15 area. The two previous wicks that you're seeing there on the screen, those are $14.99 wicks. Now the current candle that we're on, the current candle on the 5 is a $15.05 high. It's up 570%. I'm not touching this thing until it comes into a key level, but I want to let you know this one is really breaking out. We don't see these triple-digit winners really go above that 500% all that often. So we got something here with this one, and you can kind of tell this one was really going. It's got a 321 low, 1505 high. We'll keep an eye out on this one. Going back quickly here to the IPO, BLSH, it's still halted at 86.40. The halt time there, 118.17. So you add 5 minutes onto that 118.17. That is the earliest time it can open there, Joey.
Yep.
So you just want to point that out. Yeah, drop whatever information you have, then we'll get back to the news.
Yeah, absolutely. No, so essentially what happened, maybe I clicked something and said that it changed price and put it under what it actually opened at, but I don't know if
Great.
I did. But again, anything can happen, and sure enough, it just didn't go our way, Sharif. So that's as simple as it is. It's done and over with now, as you mentioned before.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, and it's done, right?
Dang,
we ate
love
half
to
a
hear it.
bagel, and now we're cool.
It's like you had to get even with somebody there. Like, I'm eating carbs, damn it.
Bro, I had to.
Yeah.
I'm like, because I'm a little hungry too,
Fair.
so you don't want me hangry.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's actually a good point, bro. I don't want to see you angry, period.
Yeah.
It's Joey Hand.
It takes a while. It takes a lot to get.
It does,
But
yeah.
as soon as I get hit in the face, then it's all.
Then
everything's off.
yeah, eh? Your face just turned there. It's so funny.
Yeah.
I love it. At least I know what face you make there, so stay away from it.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk some perplexity
All
here,
right,
Joey,
let's go.
because for whatever reason they're trying to buy Chrome. So, all right, angry wife, get it, angry wife. All right. Perplexity AI, you may have heard of them. They made an unsolicited bid to buy Google's or Alphabet's Chrome, the browser, yes, for $34.5 billion. It's going to be an all-cash offer. It's twice, or really depending on their valuation. This article says their valuation is $14 billion. I'll submit to you it's $18 billion because they raised money in July at a valuation of $18 billion. So almost double their value. The startup has previously made headline offers, including a January bid to merge with TikTok US, which obviously didn't work out. Google hasn't actually put Chrome up for sale, hence the unsolicited offer, and it intends to appeal a prior U.S. court ruling finding it held an unlawful monopoly over search. So one of the remedies that we'll talk about in 1 second is the court could possibly force Google into divesting. All right, the IPO is open again, guys. It's still bleeding. Be careful with it, okay?
Absolutely.
So here's what's going to happen. So the Department of Justice is, SSC, can we show this? Yeah. The Department of Justice, sorry, I'm not plugged in. Give me 1 second. I know you want me to plug in there because you're trying to talk to me. All right. So the Department of Justice actually wants to seek Chrome divest, the divestiture of Chrome as part of the remedies for the antitrust. I'll do this one more time because I know you're filming me. All right. So the Department of Justice wants to actually get Chrome divested away from Alphabet as a part of the remedies for the antitrust search case. So legal experts actually say a sale order could be delayed for years as Google appeals all the way to the Supreme Court. And the current judge in the case, Judge Amit Mehta, he's actually going to give a ruling about what the remedies are going to be at the end of this month. Now, he could actually order Google to divest Chrome, in which case it would make their bargaining position a little less good, obviously. So let's give some more information about how Perplexity wants to fund this. So they've raised, according to Perplexity, about $1 billion from backers like NVIDIA and SoftBank, and they're also claiming there are multiple unnamed funds have actually offered to fully fund the deal. I wouldn't be surprised by this. The offer excludes any equity and pledges to keep Chromium, which is the software upon which Chrome is built, open source, and they're going to throw $3 billion into Chrome to invest and to upgrade it over the next few years. and they will keep actually Google as a default search engine within Chrome. So they're promising to do all these things as a part of the deal with Google to kind of move the needle. So a little information on Chrome. It's got about 3 billion users. They're viewed as a key asset, obviously, in the AI race, as browsers are very, very important for data collection, right? That's what we're looking for. Search data, search traffic, user information. Perplexity already has its own browser called Comet, and they see Chrome as kind of a natural extension, a way to complete that browser, compete, I should say, directly with OpenAI, Joe.
Absolutely, and the likelihood of a sale is uncertain. Analysts see this more of a strategically timed publicity play than a deal that actually has legs. Google has shown absolutely no willingness to actually sell Chrome. But we also know that Perplexity was in talks with Apple at one point, and that deal does not seem to be going through just yet. But also from an Apple standpoint, there's talks of also Gemini and Apple teaming up, and we know that Google equals about 20 billion, so 20% of Apple's service revenue.
That's big.
With the Google Chrome deals, that is as well too.
Adara, what more light can you shed on this really interesting deal here, especially the unsolicited nature of it?
Yeah, I think, again, we talked about this a lot yesterday. I think one of the biggest things is just the fact that given the size of Perplexity, at least relatively, if they didn't have those backers, you'd be pretty shocked here by that $34.5 billion bid. But as I said to you yesterday as well, I think that the role of the backers is huge, because you really don't think that some of these companies that are involved aren't trying to weasel and get some of that Google Chrome for themselves. Like, imagine the possibilities you could do of ads. Could benefit from ads in that way. You know, you could try to big up your own products. I think it's honestly, it's a pretty crazy thing for some of these companies to have. And of course, if Perplexity has it, in and of itself, regardless of the backers, I want to know what they're going to do with it, because as you guys discussed this morning, they already have their own browser anyway. They announced that Comet thing.
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
I'm curious. I want to see the implications, but I want to hear a little bit more about this potential bid first before we get too ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, you know, I got to tell you, Dara, I'm not really concerned too much about the bid. I feel like if they want the money, they'll find the money somehow. What I'm really interested to see is Google willing to give up a lot of the important data that they use every day to target us through search, obviously, to a competitor. That's what I'm really interested to see, because that's a fundamental change right there in what Google's done. They've never really done that before. So that would be super interesting for me to see, because I know how that all works out, Joe.
Absolutely, and I wouldn't be surprised if the tables turn. What if Google says, hey, no, what if we want to buy Perplexity out for $16 billion instead of that offering of $34 billion? Could that not be a scenario as well, too?
I don't know, but do you think that the regulator jives with that, especially with the Department of Justice already?
With the antitrust?
Yeah.
But I think Google has a solid case here.
I know, but
they're losing share to GPT. They're losing share to these LLMs. So do they hold as much of a monopoly as they did previously before? No, I'm going to say no.
Yeah, but they already lost the case. Now we're going to get a remedy.
So it's a fine.
They're going to appeal it.
Yeah,
exactly. They're going to appeal it all the way to the Supreme Court. But the point is, I mean, the judge at the end of this month, in theory, could say to Google, divest Chrome. Obviously, it's not going to happen right away, because you know they're going to appeal. That's not the point.
In which the $34 billion deal doesn't look too bad out.
It doesn't look too bad. And what you and I were talking about yesterday, do you want the government telling you you have to sell? Because what kind of a price are you going to get once you're told you're forced to sell, right? As opposed to when someone wants to buy something that you don't want to sell.
Fair
right?
enough.
So that, to me, it seems like it might not be a bad of a deal right now. Let's go on. Let's just have a quick look here at Bullish. Still, zigging and zagging here, a little bit above that $90 area. It's having trouble getting right back above that opening price. So we'll keep an eye on Bullish for you guys. But we'll talk a little Piper Sandler boosting NVIDIA's price target on a strong outlook. So NVIDIA's down 1.2% today, but Piper doesn't really care about the micro. They're looking for more macro. So they raised the NVIDIA price target from 180 to 225, implying about a 23% upside from yesterday's close. They maintained that overweight rating and signaling here to the market continued bullishness ahead of that Q2 earnings, August 27th. Put that on your calendar. August 27th, NVIDIA reports. Obviously, it's going to be a hell of a market recap show. Here's why they're upgrading, or they're boosting the price target. They anticipate another positive quarter from NVIDIA with potential upside for both the July and October quarters. The base modeling here, though, is in line for July and possibly signaling a slightly below street for October, but upside is possible due to positive hyperscaler commentary as well as China revenue contributions. What do I mean by that? Well, they've got a nice tailwind here with the H20 back allowed for sale in China, and now Donald Trump making pronouncements yesterday that he would not be averse to a downgraded Blackwell chip also being made available for sale in China. The demand here obviously helps with the upgrade. Strong chip demand expected to continue, Joey, with the U.S. HPC, high-powered computing demand outstripping supply of the latest architecture. The situation intensified by rack model changes and the GB200 introduction delays. So we'll keep tabs on all that. But needless to say, Piper looking very bullish here on NVIDIA.
Yeah, rightfully so. I think that's going to be the case, guys. And I've been talking about this for quite some time. H20 now back on the table, but before that even happened, you got Donald going across the Gulf Coast and just striking billion-dollar deals across the table in some of those countries. But now, as for the earnings report, we've been on a pretty intense run here for the past little while since those April lows. Now let's pull up NVDA and see what we got going on from that specific area on when we were told to buy. And this name has just been going absolutely parabolic. So we do want to keep an eye out on some key resistance levels. 107% off of those April lows, April 7th to be exact. So the stock has doubled, right? It's looking really good, but we also want to keep an eye out on what the options chain is telling us, and that's going to say, hey, watch out for these specific call walls, 142,000, 113,000. That's now built up into over 55,000 or 255,000 current open contracts at that through those specific strike prices. For me personally, the stock might need some time to cool down, and that's being displayed here throughout that options activity, Sharif.
Adara, what do you make of this upgrade here by Piper? I mean, they see a lot of sunshine and rainbows in NVIDIA's future. Do you agree?
Well, it's funny that this comes the same day we were talking about that Fubon note actually saying that AMD might, as of right now with those chips could do a bit better than NVIDIA, right? So I think it's an interesting timing of it. I think the $225 price target, though, feels pretty fair, feels pretty accurate. I have no issue with that.
Yep.
This thing is continuing to run up, though right now, as mentioned today, at least AMD sharply outperforming them.
Oh, yeah.
Again, that could also have to do with just the fact that we had this Fubon note today as well, right? Which is likely moving AMD more. I was surprised a bit that we weren't up pre-market on this upgrade from NVIDIA, or sorry, price target increase, because it's a pretty good look. I do want to spend some time now as well, Sharif, though, if you don't mind, debuting
Go for it.
Most recent infographic here at X at TTV Research. Here are the 11 contenders that CNBC flagged for the potential Fed chair spot that we know is going to open up as of May 2026. Trump indicated today they're going to announce this individual a bit earlier. I apologize, it's a bit hard to read here. You can read it a lot better if you take it out on your own monitor at X at TTV Research. So just to kind of do a rundown, some of these individuals were already flagged as potential Fed chair nominees. We know Christopher Waller, Kevin Warsh, Kevin Hassett, or the Kevins, as Trump has been calling them. But there are some individuals in this morning's CNBC report that came a little bit out of left field. David Zervos, who was a chief market strategist for Jefferies, is now in the mix. We've got Rick Reeder, Mark Summerlin, who was, of all of these individuals, the hardest to find info on. We've also got some former Fed members as well, Larry Lindsay, James Bullard, and the aforementioned Kevin Warsh. So I have them kind of, as you can see, siphoned off here, grouped up. We have current Fed members, former Fed members, and economists. All of these individuals on watch as reported by CNBC. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens here. But I think this pool is certainly getting larger in terms of who could be the next chair of the Federal Reserve. Let's see if they're also deemed too late a couple of years ago.
I got to ask, who's your horse in that race?
My horse in that race is still Kevin Warsh. I'm voting for that horse, if you will. And that sounded a little weird out loud. The reason for that, though, is because we know Trump literally as early as 2020, during his first term, actually looked at Kevin Warsh apparently once and said, I should have picked you instead of Fed Chair Powell.
Really?
So that's the thing. Kevin Warsh has also been very, not vocal, I guess he hasn't said it out loud, but he's written pretty repeatedly here that the Fed should be cutting rates. I think he's probably a good pick. I'm not really sure if you go with any of the current Fed members, and I will tell you, I think the least likely is going to be Fed's Bowman.
He's saying all the right things, though. He's saying all the things that Donald wants to hear, isn't he?
He's saying the right things, but Sharif, she was just picked as the vice chair of supervision by Trump. It would be really weird to move her from that position then to the leader of the Fed. I don't know if they do that. I think Kevin Warsh just went back and.
All right. I love it. All right, let's go on to the next topic. Oh, do you have any comments about this?
No. She asked you, who do you think is your runner-up?
I'm going to have to say the same thing, Adara. Bring Adara back in. Yeah, I'm going to have to say the same thing. I was thinking about Waller or Warsh, but I'm leaning, obviously, a lot more to Warsh lately. I feel like, I think he wants Waller for something else, but we'll see exactly.
I think Waller's going to be probably on reserve, pun intended, maybe for another project or something.
I got you. All right. Sorry, Adara, it's just having trouble hearing because we got all the construction behind. All right, let's go on to the next topic. Trump's pick for the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. He floats, the individual that is, you'll find out who he is in a second, the idea of suspending the monthly jobs report. Now, not permanently. So Donald Trump, as we know, named E.J. Antony, the chief economist at the Heritage Foundation, as his pick to lead the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, BLS for short. Anthony, has suggested that they should temporarily halt the monthly jobs report, citing accuracy concerns. And there's a lot of revisions, downward revisions mostly. So accuracy is a bit of an issue here. There's really no denying that. He advocates using more accurate but less timely quarterly data until the reporting methodology is improved for the monthly reporting. He kind of questioned how businesses and the Federal Reserve can make decisions if job figures are unreliable. And the catalyst here for him, doing all this was the firing of his predecessor, who Donald Trump did fire. I believe I forget her name. Erica, McAntrafar on August 1st. He accused her of rigging the data. Anyway, the July jobs report showed slower than expected job growth and downward revisions for May and June. While revisions are common, Trump cited them as evidence of political manipulation and data, but we know that the jobs report were coming in high during the Biden administration as well, and then they were being revised down month over month. So that's not something that just only happens now, Joey, even though, he could have a point. Go ahead.
Absolutely. New traders, listen up. First month free. That's right. We're waiving fees. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to Elite. Analyze, strategize, capitalize. Our platform, it's everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts, predict with backtesting, reliable real-time data, global markets at your fingertips, all in one platform. Don't miss out. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading? Scan the QR code or check the link in the description. Adara, what do you got for us?
Pinterest is dropping here. TechCrunch reporting that apparently Meta is creating a competitor here for Pinterest. Apparently, it's going to be a feature on Instagram that helps users find shared interests. So with that report that apparently Meta's Instagram is creating a competitive product, PINS dropping here. Back to you.
That Derek.
Right on.
All right, Joey, any comments here about the Trump pick for BLS? You want to go on?
Yeah, we'll move forward here.
All right, Dara, any comment on the BLS pick by our good friend Donald Trump?
I don't know. We'll have to see. I think one thing that's interesting is Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent himself said this morning he does not advocate for getting rid of labor reports. So that, I think, is, I don't know if necessarily everyone's going to agree with Mr. Antony. We're going to have to wait and see what happens. And again, I think he still has to be confirmed. I think the confirmation hearing will be super, super interesting. For those who don't know, I watch these religiously. I really enjoy them to the point where I've actually started watching old ones on my downtime after work. So I'm going to be following this. If there's anything of note that comes of that, I'll let you guys know. We'll have to wait and see when that happens. But I think, it's not a super shocking pick. He's someone who will generally, I think, agree with what Trump wants. And Trump even said in a Truth Social post announcing his nomination of Antony that, we're going to get the job numbers back on track. So, I think what he has to do or what Trump wants him to do is pretty clear. We'll see if he follows.
All right.
Isn't it important to get those job numbers correct, considering the Fed's mandate is obviously maximum employment and price stability, and then you're basing cuts on a weaker labor market or not?
Absolutely. You got to get the jobs number right, but what methods do you use to kind of get those right? And is temporarily suspending them, part of the right move here? A lot of, I don't know what the repercussions would be or the corollary effects, but a lot of data relies on some of these job numbers.
Absolutely.
What are these data points how do they react when there's no jobs number coming out? So a lot more stuff has to be answered. Let's go on to the next headline. Trump threatens lawsuit against Fed Chair Powell amid rate cut push. That's what the headline is. So President Trump said he is considering allowing a major lawsuit against Fed Chair Jerome Powell over what he calls costly renovations at the central bank's Washington, D.C. headquarters. Trump criticized the project's $3 billion plus price tag, claiming it should have cost around $50 million. He's a real estate guy. Who knows? The Fed and Powell obviously have defended the project's scope as well as the cost increases, citing preservation and modernization needs. But, you know, really what this comes down to is rate cuts. So Trump has intensified his calls, I believe even this morning, for Powell to immediately slash interest rates by multiple percentage points, arguing it would lower the borrowing costs for the U.S. government, who's paying $1 trillion a year in servicing their national debt. $1 trillion a year. Imagine paying the minimum balance on your credit card every month or on a yearly basis, and that minimum balance is $1 trillion. That's what they're doing. They're not even paying off the principal, just the interest. Okay, it's crazy. He's criticized Powell for being too late in policy moves, blaming him for unnecessary economic drag. But, you know, Trump mocked Powell's 2017 nomination, blaming the former Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin for pushing him on the president, because obviously the president appointed him here, Joey. So we'll see how this all works out, but it looks like Trump's pulling out all the stops here.
Yeah, I think he said multiple percentage points. That's insane for me personally. I don't think that's you necessarily want that. I mentioned price stability, maximum employment. I think a multiple percentage point, not even bips, is just going to send inflation through the roof, because the consumer will just start spending and spending again, especially if it's cheaper to borrow money. Sharif, in my opinion, I just don't think that's logical. It just reignite inflation, and then what? You wait for a couple more jobs reports that they want to essentially discontinue, and then sure enough, things are through. CPI is elevated once again. I just don't think that's necessary, in my opinion.
So you're worried about the interest rates remaining high?
Yeah. Well, no, too low. I would prefer them not to be too low, because what would you rather do, right? At the end of the day, you're going to have. So if in September we get a 50 basis point cut,
right?
What if he goes to a full basis point and then another full percentage point as well too? Don't you think that has the ability to reignite inflation? And
absolutely,
right?
Of course, and that's what the Fed's been holding off on.
But
like, we've been waiting for some of these tariff-related inflation prints to come in. They still haven't come in,
right?
Either.
So we still haven't felt the full effects of what's going on with tariffs.
So the question is, are we going to feel them? Because there's a bit of a lag here. I mean, we're talking from April. People said we're going to feel it in June. We didn't feel it in June. July. Still waiting. August, we're still waiting.
But with the consumer cooling down as well, too, I don't know how much of an effect can that possibly have.
Yeah, it's going to be super interesting. Adara, comments about this lawsuit, or more generally about the interest rate picture?
Oh, you know I have comments. So yeah, Trump said again that he thinks the too late nickname will live on forever. That he's going to be associated with him forever. I'm going to take a moment once again to plug X at TDV Research, because I have an entire series of infographics on Trump and Powell. This is like the second page. There's also a beautiful little title page. Again, you can check it out on X. But I mean, this kind of beef has been going on for a while. Trump actually first started calling out Powell in the first administration around 2019, right? So this is not new. Now, what's interesting as well here is the fact that Trump really wants that 1% interest rates right now. And it doesn't even seem like the Fed, that's even something they're really on board with. Now, we know that, of course, Bowman and Waller, who are both being tapped as potential Fed chair picks by the Trump administration, they both actually dissented with the general opinion, and they actually wanted to cut rates at the last meeting. But again, we don't even know if they view the proper rate as 1%, right? And I think it's just the Fed is really facing pressure. As they're facing pressure, we're starting to see their opinions diverge a lot. And that's beyond the Bowman and Waller comments. Even yesterday, we had Fed's Barkin being a little bit more dovish. Then we had Fed Schmidt half an hour later being a lot more hawkish. Fed's Goolsbee is being very hawkish right now. He's still speaking. So I think this divergence of opinions is not really a great look, because it makes it even harder to see what does the Fed even want to do, let alone with all the pressure they're getting. I don't know. It's an interesting picture. I don't have a clear answer, but I'm fascinated to see how this all turns out, because I think the waters are getting muddied across the board.
1% interest rate?
That's what Trump wants.
That's what he wants. I don't think that's what the Fed gives us.
How sustainable is a cut, or actually rates at 1%?
Cut.
Oh, okay, yeah,
so
that's
bringing
different.
it down
like 1% is not sustainable, because at what point are you going to start just hiking again? You go right back into QT.
you realize we stayed about a decade and a half at less than 1%, right?
Yeah, for a long.
From like the financial GFC.
Less than 1%.
Yeah. It's like.
But then it was also
COVID.
north of like 12 before that, wasn't it? It was the higher
in the
interest
80s.
rate. Yeah, in the 80s. Right?
Yeah, in the 80s. But yeah, like in the 90s, I think it was like around 4. Then the 9/11 happened. They dropped it down. The dot-com bubble didn't help things in 99 either. So there were some times. But basically from the GFC onward, from late 08, early 09, we basically had free money for like a decade and change.
Yeah, even post-COVID, essentially, right?
Yeah. We're literally right, because they kept the interest rates low. All right, let's go on to this next story. This is a really, really, really interesting story around. So the U.S. apparently, according to Financial Times, is embedding trackers in AI chip shipments. They're not in the AI chips themselves, but they're in the AI chip shipments. So the U.S. authorities have been placing hidden location tracking devices in select shipments of advanced AI chips to monitor potential illegal diversion to China. The targets include products from Dell, Supermicro, NVIDIA, AMD, and they're often embedded discreetly inside the packaging or even within the servers themselves. If you've seen these servers, they're high, or they're pretty high. The tactic, oh boy. The tactic is part of efforts to enforce strict chip enforcement controls imposed under the previous administration since 22, aiming obviously to limit China's military modernization and their tech capabilities. Law enforcement agencies like the HSI, I don't even know what that is, the FBI, the Department of Commerce, they're all involved apparently in these operations, and the trackers are used only in shipments under active investigation, helping build criminal cases against violators. That's what's being said. So I guess maybe that warrant has to be issued there since they're under investigation. Server shipments from Dell and SMCI in containing AMD and NVIDIA chips have been targeted with some trackers as large as a smartphone here, Joey. So this is obviously something that the Chinese government summoned NVIDIA for. They summoned them. They're like, hey, come tell us about all this tracking stuff you're putting on the actual chips. That's not what this story is saying.
No.
The story is saying the shipments themselves and the packaging and the servers, they've got some tracking devices on.
So the wrong chips don't lead their way into China, not necessarily tracking the chips that have already been shipped there, right?
There you go.
So at the end of the day, they're not necessarily doing it. They're just making sure they don't get into the wrong hands by tracking them.
So you're good with this?
I'm all right. That's fine, right?
Yeah.
Is that not okay?
Let me play devil's advocate.
Absolutely.
We're going to get into Nadera in a second over here. But Joey, if I'm the Chinese government, if I'm a Chinese buyer, doesn't this dissuade me a little bit from wanting to buy these things because I know that they're going to be tracked 10 ways to Sunday?
Yeah, but it's not those chips. It's the chips that they're selling, if I stand corrected, to other countries that they don't want funneling into China.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not going to. That doesn't necessarily. They're going to be tracking the chips that are going to China.
Well said. But like the people who are really buying these chips that are ending up in China, we know the Singapore story. We know about where else? Vietnam. They're weaseling in through.
Well, it's as simple as.
So do you see it? What I'm trying to get at is there a currency headwind as a result of this story?
Absolutely,
yes or no?
Absolutely. At the end of the day, right?
Adaro, how do you feel about this?
I don't know enough about the currency angle, but I agree with you that already China and the U.S. are having issues with this whole chip thing. We know companies like NVIDIA and AMD are really trying to get these chips into China, with NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang even saying, we don't have a back door, we don't want a back door. The fact that they're adding these trackers, I don't know how good of a look that is, quite honestly. I totally agree with what you said. I was clapping a little bit there when you said, if China knows about this, why will they want to buy any chips? That's going to hurt the revenue of these American companies, which we've heard a lot, that's essentially what Trump and the administration want to build up, right? They want to build up these American companies. It's going to be hard for them to build, though, if they can't sell in China. And furthermore, Sharif, especially now with that 15%, I wanted to say tariff, but you know what I mean, the 15% revenue payment that companies like AMD and NVIDIA will have to make to sell to China. Wouldn't the U.S. be even more incentivized to sell more chips to China? Pray tell. You would think. But I think these trackers are actually going to disincentivize China from buying the chips. So it's a whole quagmire, to use one of my favorite words, and I don't have a clear answer. But I want to see how it develops, and I think it's a wild story.
And we've seen, Adara, that it's not only NVIDIA that wants to grow their revenue. Donald's okay now that he's getting 15%, Adara. of that China, exactly. So I gotta agree completely with what you said there. The only thing that I really want, I want to like support you on your argument there, Joey, is the fact that on paper these shipments are not going to China.
Exactly.
But realistically, IRL, how many of these non-destined Chinese, or sorry, AI servers, AI chips will actually really end up in China? And if that was the case, taking that certain percentage, what kind of revenue headwind do we have coming out of China?
I mean, they're possibly couldn't. I'm going to stand on my side. At the end of the day, if you're not supposed to be buying those chips, that's fine. We're not saying we're going to track the H20 that we're now allowing back into China. You guys can do whatever you would like with those, but just don't be buying chips that you're not supposed to be buying. And I think that's fair enough to say.
We're doing it live over here. You know that, right? We're always doing it live. Assassino. This is it right now. This is actually starting to take shape. This handsome gentleman on the bottom right, that is Rob. We're not allowed to call him Robert. He gets very upset. And that is the even more handsome gentleman there, Neil. And that's just me and Joseph over there. And Adara is back there. So this is the set as it's currently happening. So these desks will be angled. This stage right here, guys, that you guys see, that green screen, it's all gone. Everything back there, that's all gone. This back side right there where Adara is, that's going to be the production team. That's where they're going to move. And we're going to be on this side, the non-stage side. So shout out to Brendo for sending that to me. That's the look right now. All the lights, the Chilean Nightmare is going to have to move all these lights, Joseph, and move them from this side to the other side. So the Chilean Nightmare will be doing things there. Shout out to him. Oh, boy. You guys should get the Oh My Days from Stan Collimore's live commentary on Ibrahimovic bicycle kick goal for the soundboard. I love it. Thank you so much for the 100 Swedish kroners. I happen to know exactly what goal that is. He was playing for Sweden, right? I think that's a Sweden goal. He wasn't actually playing for the club. Love that. Thank you for that. I'm going to have to actually screenshot that and make and get that so we can get the production team to help us out with that. Any other comments, Joey, before we move on to Rigetti?
No, let's move on, bro.
All right. Rigetti, mom's spaghetti, and knees are heavy. How'd they do? They reported, I believe, in the aftermarket yesterday, and they reported about $1.8 million in revenue, which was up from the 1.5 they made last quarter, but down from the 3.1 million they printed last year in the quarter. Why are they making less money? I thought Quantum was supposed to be picking up. Their net loss also narrowed down from 21.6 last year to 19.9 this year, but above last quarter's $16.1 million loss that they printed last year on the quarter. That's it. The results include, though, a one-time $22.8 million non-cash loss related to company warrants that won't recur again, according to the company. Their revenue is kind of dependent here on government contracts and milestone-based research and development awards, leading to kind of irregular bookings and patterns described as lumpiness, so to speak. The industry obviously is booming. Quantum is booming. Quantum computing remains very early on, very nascent, with long-term commercialization timelines well down the road. The CEO of the company emphasized a slow and steady approach to growth with expectations for 15 plus years. So a 15-year growth window there before large-scale commercialization, Joey. The near-term focus, he says, the company is focusing on remains on research and development, so very much still sort of a science experiment, despite obviously investor interest and the speculative market valuations that we've been seeing in some of these quantum names.
Yeah, I mean, as you just mentioned, 15 plus years. So when I talk about Tesla being forward-looking, you have to be extremely forward-looking in the quantum space as well, across all the boards. It doesn't matter how good it, whether it's D-Wave, whether it's RGTI, whether it's QUBT, you have to be forward-looking in this space. We were trading this throughout the session, nice holding really, really well in these lows, and then we start to piece them out. But as I mentioned, guys, you can take a look from a daily standpoint to see kind of ever since everything became in play. So this was in late last year, November, and then sure enough, you go on this monster run, 1,400%. I almost said 140%. No, that's 1,400% from those lows, $1.36 up to $21. And then sure enough, you're slowly starting to climb higher and higher. But I mentioned, I'll say it one more time, sound like a broken record, you have to be forward looking in this space. They're going to continuously be losing money until they obviously turn a profit, as obvious as that may sound. But again, with a space that is going to take some time, Jensen mentioned that it's going to be 10 plus years until you get the full effect of quantum computing. They're saying 15 plus. be patient on.
Yeah, who knows exactly,
Right?
man? I mean, it could happen. There could be breakthroughs, or it could take
Some people say
frickin'
it's
forever,
a dream. Some
right?
people say it's a dream. It's essentially may never happen. So
It's kind of like mind-boggling to understand how this stuff works. It can be both in a positive and negative state at the same time.
Yeah.
How are you in this same state at the same? I don't know, bro. Who probably Mark knows. So maybe we'll ask Mark. Dara, any comment here on Rigetti knees are heavy?
I don't really know enough about the quantum space.
Neither do I, Dara.
Fundamentals. So we'll just look at the number. I think the fact that their net loss actually narrowed a little bit is pretty good. That's always, nice if you're losing a little bit less. But the revenue being down that much year over year is really, really sketchy. But again, you could argue, well, this is a company that the revenue isn't going to matter as much. As you said, it's about what they're working towards, right? So you could make that argument as well. I don't know. I think these stocks are very hypey, for lack of a better term. They're going to run a lot on this retail excitement, this meme excitement, and a lot less on the fundamentals because, as we just mentioned, the fundamentals are still developing.
Exactly.
I would say that. Also, with regards to the fact that McKinsey is projecting the quantum computing market to grow, I want to talk about McKinsey for a second because they also told one of the major phone providers, I believe it was Verizon, but don't quote me on that, they told them back in, I think, the 80s or 90s not to get into the cell phone market because no one would have cell phones.
Interesting.
So predictions are not always going to be exactly accurate, right? That's what I want to say there. Not trying to diss McKinsey, but I always find that interesting. Sometimes, it's really hard to predict years and years into the future. That being said, the science seems to be good. Jensen Huang has actually walked back his initial comments that were like, we're not going to have quantum for 15 to 30 years. So we'll have to wait and see. I trust Jensen. I don't know. My whole kind of thing for this is, we'll find out.
Yeah, and we never know. Like, we haven't heard a peep out of Jensen lately about quantum, but we know he's got a quantum division, does he not? Right? So we'll have to wait and see what he weasels into, or
Google's Willow.
Yeah, Google's Willow. Good point.
Willow,
there was that as well.
Obviously, like if you're forward looking, you just, as Adair mentioned, people say that not everyone would have a cell phone. Well, we can just be looking at the quantum space saying, yeah, there's no chance, but anything can happen 10 or 15 down years.
It's crazy. All right, guys, let's go over a couple of trades over here as we wind down the show as the big boys get ready. One of those ones that was really running midday, pesky, PSKY. Look at this. What is this? Why is there a buy program to the high side and the downside? Because that was an uninterrupted move up and an uninterrupted move down, right down into the volume-weighted average price. In fact, losing it for the moment. It's right at that VWAP area. It looks like it's going to hold maybe 14 and a quarter. Get it, Katina, man. I know. I showed the people. Brendo sent me a picture. Looks fantastic. I know, right? PSKY, guys. So at VWAP right now, if it ends up holding VWAP, this could be a buy here. PSKY was a good one. But really the one that everybody was looking at in small cap gapper world was this one, BSLK. Fantastic move up, guys. We closed out yesterday at $2.50. We got to 15.05, and this one kept going and going and going. We had a quick trade on this one. Not my biggest winner. Tried to kind of deal with it again, end up giving back a little bit. We're still positive on it, but it's still holding the 10 EMA, as you can see. So this one could have a second win going into Power Hour. Be on the lookout. What I'd be saying, what I'd be telling you guys to look for if I was here during Power Hour is the 10 EMA. It's been respectful, the 10 EMA all day long. If it loses it, I would be suspicious. VWAP is way, way far from where we're trading. We're trading at 13.5, 13 1/3. VWAP's at 6 3/4. So I would not base anything here on VWAP. That's just my personal opinion on BSLK. It's been a fantastic look, but trade it carefully, Joey, because it could flip the switch on you super quick.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we'll just do a same trade review as what Sharif's got going on. We traded 4 names today. Let's start off here with RGTI, as we were just talking about it, so you can see that we take this move. And then we get stopped out, break it. Well, I just cut it prematurely as I was focusing on something else, and then we get involved in it once again, and then sure enough, we didn't add to the position, which is unfortunate, but that's okay. Boom, 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 you take it off, and then eventually we just punch out at the highs there on RGTI. Now, as for Ethereum, we had one trade on this one. This is it right here. You can see once this downtrend on the 5-minute was broken, keep it simplistic, you have this downtrend right here. Once it cracked there, you can see displayed around that 35-45 level. You get involved, and then sure enough, you piece it out. Pull back slightly too deep. Sorry, I'm just kind of thinking in my head about something. Anyways, pull back too deep. climbs right back towards those highs right there. And then let's take a look at IBIT. That was our other name that we traded throughout today. Best trader of the session. Boom, boom. You get that move to the top side. You look for a couple continuations. Here, we get that move. Add to that position, just kind of free roll method. But sure enough, too tight. Pull back, and then now you're starting to climb back towards those previous highs. And then we also have D-Wave that we traded. QBTS. That is on the NY. And this is the only one where we took a full stop out on this trade. Once it pulls up, I'll be able to display it to you guys. And here it is. That was our only loss, essentially, on the day, was QBTS, as we play for the break and the continuation to the top side in the overall space. But the market had other plans and continued to sell off. So there's our 4 trades of the day, and we won't complain whatsoever about what's going on. Glad that the boys caught that opening on BLSH. That was really, really nice. Unfortunately that I didn't get to partake in it, but it is what it is, and there's always going to be another opportunity. Chances of it being bigger and better is there, and I'm glad.
Oh, absolutely. I bet you're going to smash the next one, bro.
Yeah. I plan on it. Considering that I've seen there, it's unfortunate that I didn't get to partake in it, but hey, I'm not going to cry home about it.
Joey, I just want to mention, that's Satea. Apparently, Satea's here sick, bro. No, seriously, though, I do want to mention, guys, that Tilray is running. Shout out to Jam Locky. I missed it earlier when you mentioned, but Assassino, if I can show the chart here on Tilray, TLRY is up 27%. It had a good day. Yeah, Katina, man, it's running because your boy Donald wants to he wants to change the scheduling there. Anyway, it had a good day. It looks like on Monday, kind of maybe a down day today, but we definitely held lows, and up we go again. So TLRY, hey, man, it's $1 stock. So if this thing runs, I'm not saying it's going to run, but, you could size it.
Is Aurora at 1,300 yet?
Let's check. It's at $5, Joey.
Ooh, all right, we're almost there.
It had a good day Monday as well, but it's not breaking out like Tilray for whatever reason. ACB not having the same kind of price action TLRY is having. So anyway, guys, it is 2:01. The big kahunas are locked and loaded. Joey's nice enough to cover for me on the rundown.